I see the oiler coming straight towards our end. I go to make my pivot, but I get burned again. I'm stuck out of position, and McDavid's gone. Now I hear those fans are screaming, 'cause that red light's on. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, you'll never play for a living, you'll only play for fun. But I cracked the squad in TO, 2 years at 1.9. Now I'm hung out on the PK against McDavid's line. My coaches are a-screaming, keep 'em to the outside, but they ain't tried containing a cheetah who's just done a couple lines. I'm caught out of position, and McDavid's gone. I just hope I still have my job when we get back home. I should not be saying, but let's just make this clear. McDavid and Austin Matthews ain't in the same hemisphere. I'm stuck out of position, and McDavid's gone. Now Rogers' Place, it is exploded, 'cause that red light's on.
Well, that about sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, right on cue.
Rogers' Place is exploding because that red light's on. That worked out well. Toronto Maple Leafs last night. Caught out of position a few times, especially on the McLeod winner. Austin Matthews, like, getting out of the way and being like, oh, geez, you better have the top corner over here. The last thing I want to do is get in front of a puck. But that being said, offensively, Austin Matthews was insanely dangerous last night. But
he was fine. Connor McDavid getting in the way with that McLeod goal, right? A nice perfect screen.
Impossible for Jones to stop it if he can't see it. That's why it's a screen. That's why it works insanely well.
They don't sniff him out, do they?
No. Where's that puck? Oh, there it is. That's not going to be the case. All right, you can.
But that'd be cool.
That would be pretty good, wouldn't it?
I mean, I'm giving him the Vezina today if that's the case. If you're sniffing out pucks,
this guy doesn't even need to see the pucks. I mean, that's how it was kind of for Skinner. Skinner last night. We gotta have a Stuart Skinner conversation here with Jamie McLennan.
Boy named Stu.
Boy named Stu. Boy named Stu. Boy named Stu.
Boy.
Jason in Leduc is in and says, my God, that song is what I needed. My 4-year-old woke up at 4:30. And I've been an Oscar fish since then, but this song has reset my mood. Actually, I could use a conch too. Well, you've come to the right place.
Am I missing something with the Oscar fish? Is that a cartoon?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that like a show or a song? I don't know.
Must be the new.
The generation of like kids stuff moves quickly.
I am out to lunch. Yeah,
you're in. Like we're still in full blown Bluey mode, which you got a lot of time for.
Still don't. Sounds actually dirty to me, to be honest with you.
Clean up your act here. Right? Yeah, the dad on Bluey, genius. But yeah, so I don't know is Oscar Fish a show or is that a typo?
Yeah.
Or what are we talking about here?
I need more empty nest terminology here. That's my wheelhouse.
Trapped in nest, man, empty nest. What a reference.
What a show.
What flew under the radar? Like a lot of those other shows like Golden Girls, people, the Empty Nest kind of had its moment to shine, and that was it.
And if I may, one of the best opening theme songs in 90s.
I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Days go on, so do we. Da, 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 da. And he's got his big dog there. And it's just, I mean, that's living, baby. He
was a doctor, right?
Yeah. And, it was
he
a
had,
playoff
and he had a
Golden Girls.
daughter? Did he have a daughter?
Something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
a son or a daughter.
Yeah.
But he was married to one of the Golden, or he was the doctor of one of the Golden Girls. That's what it was.
In a legit crossover? Oh, I don't remember that. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh, I didn't know. That's like some step-by-step Family Matters stuff.
Write that down for the rap.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What did I learn today? I learned that Empty Nest was a bit of a crossover with Golden Girls. Unbelievable. Guys, can I get a conch for my dog, Reggie, who's going in to get neutered today? Kind of like what Edmonton did to Toronto last night. Have a good one, Reggie. Have a good one. Best of luck, bud. Best of luck. Everything is going to be okay for Reggie.
It's like trailing to the Leafs entering the third. You know it's going to be okay. It's a given. You got him right where you want him.
Yeah. Did you guys see Matthews duck out of the way on the game winner? McDavid would never. And as you replied to the guy, McDavid literally stood there.
He did the total opposite, yes.
It was, Matthews basically played that as poorly as you could. And like I said, I thought the rest of the game, offensively, you can tell why he scores so many goals. Like, he's insanely dangerous in the offensive zone.
They were flying.
Timing-wise, they were,
out of the gate there, out of the track. But
on that goal, McDavid goes to the net. Matthews is there with him long enough to help cause the screen, doesn't physically remove him from the goaltender's line of sight, and then when the shot comes, sort of backs out of the way and allows the corner to be picked. So not an ideal moment there. Not an ideal moment for Auston Matthews on that one. You can text us anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999. Valentine's Day is now less than a month away. It is time to go see our friends at PJ's. 22 locations across the country. Visit them, www.parisjewelers.com. Check out all the deals before you hop in store and get your hands on something shiny for the one that you love. We'll get to some of those text messages as we work our way through the show this morning. The very best text message could be a Macramalla intro today. Could end up, this is one of those days where there's enough content to steal it away from the Macramalla intro just because the Oilers are on an 11-game heater. But
the 11-game heater and handing the Leafs their fourth straight loss in the process. Like, this is all, it's not like this is, and everybody's saying, oh, Stanley Cup matchup here. No. Like, they're in one right now, and you've just added to it. So this is.
When you continually blow 2-goal leads, if that continues, somebody is going to be fired.
As I said, heading into the third, you had them right where you wanted them. They had the graphic on the screen. It was like they're better playing, like they're not bad, but when they're leading, good night.
How do you lack that much of a killer instinct?
Well,
like
now it's
over and over and over again.
It's a thing now. Like, as you say, it's
that's a tough look. That's a tough look. But you could use that to maybe fuel your fire and get in the mix here for text of the day for A&W.
Yes.
A&W Spicy Dill Pickle Mama Burger is back. Now available as a buddy burger as well. Available for a limited time. Of course, only at A&W. That's hitting the post right there.
It hits good after a nice beating the Leafs, eh?
Get yourself some A&W today for breakfast on the way into work. Celebrate the dub. Celebrate the dub. 780-218-9999. I haven't even looked into the nasty chat yet. I figured it's absolutely flying.
Oh, she humming.
Oh, yeah. People are rolling along. Rolling along this morning. Bouchard. Dryside. We got hosed on the Hyman goal.
But that's...
I mean, it was the right call, but we got hosed on it from a betting perspective.
Yeah.
But what a goal. What a finish.
But as somebody also astutely pointed out, I mean, we need a Hyman disallowed goal song. Yesterday.
Yeah, he's had 6 of them since he joined the team.
It's a running joke now, almost.
I honestly thought it was more. And I think there's been other goals that have been disallowed where Hyman has been the reason for it, like he's been around the crease and stuff.
Yeah, he's always involved in some way.
But was that...
I'm
trying to think back. It was disallowed, but that had to have been Hyman's nicest goal of the year. Like the cut wide and then the short side tuck in tight. I'm trying to think of a nicer goal he scored this year.
That was personal for him.
Oh.
You know, like that was a...
It must have also been personal for the producer of the broadcast last night to not show us a bloody replay of the offside until after the ruling. How does that happen? I'm sitting there going, how are you guys not mixing in a couple of replays of what the officials are looking at right now? That was Bush. And after, so they come out and then they mix in one replay and it's like back to play. I was like, my goodness, you guys. That was, that was frustrating last night from a television perspective.
Epstein's father, a.k.a. Fat Guy Tiny Car. Can we get a conch for Craig Button? He carried the hot takes from yesterday morning right onto TSN. Get the guy the mitt.
Craig Button's never going to be like, oh, I shouldn't say that.
Especially with Jay Honor, like leading him, kind of on the thing there.
That's why I got so much respect for Craig Button, man. Like, he just tells it like it is. I honestly think yesterday in a segment, he fired Sheldon Keefe 3 different times. 3 different times. I think I even asked him about Calgary, and he's like, yeah, but the Leafs should fire Sheldon Keefe. Like, he was that fired up about it. So that was kind of fun to see. Lots of people checking out the postgame show last night. That's great as well. And if you're checking out any of our content and you've not yet subscribed, please do. Just click the little bell button at the top. You don't have to turn notifications on, but if you do, you'll never miss a show. So that's nice. Feel free to subscribe to our content here on Edmonton Sports Talk. We are over 6,500 subs now on the push towards 7,000. Joelle is in and says, my sister watches Toronto, and she said they play first period and a little bit of the second, and then just do not show up at all in the third, which is pretty much par for the course for what we saw last night.
If I could just take this time, because I feel like the universe is speaking to me right now.
Okay.
Big G texts in, well, I hope you guys will have a better day than I will. I was driving into work, tried to avoid something on the road, never did, and now I got a flat tire. Did you see those wheels outside of my 07 Sebring? Brand new wheels, brand new tires. And I'd like to thank Rick and Dan.
Yes.
They came to fix me up yesterday, and just outstanding service. If you want a good deal and you have some tire issues, holler at me. I'll pass you on the number. Rick and Dan, top-notch guys. And, this is...
You have to know that these tires are going to work when they come from guys named Rick and Dan. That's it. Rick and Dan tires.
Cash, hand, away we go. All good.
Do you have confirmation that they actually are tire guys? Okay.
They have a big truck, but under minus 15, it doesn't run because it's like a freezer. There's no insulation, so they brought 2 little minivans. But this is great.
That's good.
Not good you had flat tire, but I'm just saying it's nice to... This is how it works.
Talk to Rick and Dan.
Oilers beat the Leafs. You have an issue. We're fixing it right now. Away we go.
Everything's getting fixed. The Edmonton Oilers have won 11 in a row. Everything's good right now. I'm surprised there aren't flowers blooming somewhere in this city right now.
And another 2-goal win as well from the opposition, right? Doing it again. You said 5-3, I think, yesterday.
I said 5-3.
Still a 2-goal, so you're...
You know who actually called it yesterday? Matt Cassidy on 2 guys in a goal. He said 4-2 with an empty netter. This guy's on fire. Evan Bouchard with the empty netter. And we've got a song for that, don't we? Dallas from Nelson picked the right week to drop this bad boy on us.
I got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Drysidle's setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. As sure as new G is slick and Kane is tough. We're going all the way this year, enough is enough. And we can play 'em straight or we can play 'em rough. I'm feeling fine when I walk the line. You know I shoot that puck so very, very hard. The name on the back of my jersey says Bouchard. And we're gunning for first place, not a wild card. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. Well, we're counting on our skill and not on luck. And it's gonna get real when they drop that puck. And we won't be done until we hoist the cup. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. I got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Drysdale's setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line.
Oh, yes, you will. Hit the twine. Actually, didn't hit the twine. That puck stopped just over the line. Great weight on it last night. Evan Bouchard finds the back of the net.
It hit no twine. It crossed the line.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that one. That's good. Stromy's in says, damn, this is good. I'm talking 11 wins in a row. Yes, 11 wins in a row. The Edmonton Oilers have won 19 of their last 22 hockey games.
Adam says they may never lose again.
I'm not one for bold statements on this show, but hard to argue with them. Hard to argue with them when they continue to find a way. We're going to break down this game more in depth coming up here right away with your morning after show for EM Utility Locating. But let me lay out the show for you first. We got lots to get to. A few more goal songs that we got to get into the mix. You can text us anytime. If you are listening at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, it should be known you can also listen on the free TuneIn app. I saw somebody text in and say, Dusty, I only find the TuneIn app they have to pay for. No, just download the TuneIn app. When you first open it up, it'll be like, sign up for premium. And then there's a little X that's kind of hidden up in the corner. You just click that X and then search Edmonton Sports Talk, heart us, favorite us, whatever it is, and then we'll pop up on TuneIn every single time. You hop in your car, connect it with your Bluetooth or a plug-in cable or whatever. Heck, I don't even care if you plug it in with the old the tape cassette into your Discman. I mean, however it works.
I'd prefer
to make it work. Static-free sports talk.
Send a picture.
All the way in every single morning. That would be amazing if somebody worked that.
Let's see your rig.
That would be a pretty good setup, man. I used to roll that in high school because I was so cool.
Of course you did.
So cool.
But you got to keep that
until
Discman.
I got the deck.
You got to keep it tight so it doesn't skip, right? Like you're driving with the Discman.
Yeah, you tuck it down. But if you tuck it down right between the seat and the edge, sometimes that wouldn't skip. So that always worked out.
How about Lacombe Drew here? More like Shell Dunn, Keith.
Oh, jeez. I don't have the rim shot here, but that's a good one.
Put that on the.
Who's that? Is that in a text or is it in the nasty chat?
Lacombe Drew.
Lacombe Drew. All right. Yeah. That's good. More like Shell Dunkeef. That could be text of the day content right there. That's good. A tough day. Macramalla Angel's already flying in, and I will say there are some good ones, but Lacombe Drew repping strong early this morning. It's a jam-packed show. We do have a busy one for you. I know we always say that. Sometimes when we say that, it's not really that busy, but it's nice to be like, it's a busy show, and this is a jam-packed show. We got your morning after show coming up for EM Utility Locating. Iron Eagle going after his color at us last night on NBA Hoops. I don't know. It's just myself and Glenn Suter, this would never happen. This would never happen when you're broadcasting with one of your best buddies, which is a great day to bring this up because Mr. Lean is in for YouTube Trev today. And I know he's very passionate about my relationship with Glenn Suter. I would never, ever, ever treat Glenn Suter this way. But we'll get to that coming up here around 6:30 this morning. Jamie McLennan will pop by just after 7 o'clock. There's a bunch of discussions we have to have today, both with you, between us, with Noodles. Stuart Skinner. Is this just who Stuart Skinner is now? Is Stuart Skinner just hit his stride and behind a legitimate NHL team playing defense the way they're supposed to, is Stuart Skinner, dare I say it, more than good enough to be the goaltender on a championship team?
He is him.
Ooh, wow.
Right?
Good one.
What they do?
Yeah, that's a good one. Noodles will be by just after 7. The Cool Bet hotline of the day coming up around 7:20. Will the NHL try to take another one away from us? Free advice for Damon Bunting around 7:30. What do you need help with? Best part about this, it's not going to charge you a penny. Not going to cost you a cent. Fantasy hockey advice fantasy football keeper advice, life advice, relationship advice, work advice. We got you covered for free. What do you need help with? 780-218-9999. Eric Macramalla, who was at an embassy yesterday. I don't foresee any time in my future where I'm posing for photos in an embassy of any type. Any type. Macramalla was there last night. He was out when he was at the U.S. Embassy in Ottawa.
Like working? Like I
not even tour, because
as a lawyer though, you're always working.
Yeah.
Right? Like
just so he was working last night. Oh, I thght you meant like me working.
Oh,
I was
no,
like,
no,
we're not
no.
taking EST
like
on the road to the
he's
embassy.
looking around, snooping for, like, I mean, in an embassy too, letting him loose in an embassy. Ooh.
I'm going to straight up ask him today if he's a spy.
Right?
I feel like the only reason to really go to an embassy is because you're a spy.
And his video reaction will tell all. You'll know right in the right. Like,
yeah, right there. Monic's just disgusted with our embassy talk. Kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's just after 8 o'clock. 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power. Power. Coming up here around 8:20. And Justin Dunk is going to join us around 8:30 today. We'll get his thoughts on the Edmonton Elks moving some money around. Therezna out. Curly Gittins Jr. in. We'll also have G. Roy Simon on the show tomorrow to discuss this as well. Hit us up in the nasty chat. Let's hammer that thumbs up this morning. All right? It pushes the algorithm forward, and everybody's happy when it's all said and done. So hammer that thumbs up this morning. And we are coming at you live from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio, where you can still get your name on that or pick up a Zach Hyman Collector's Cup. He's the first one that they released. They got Nurse Ekholm Nuge still to come. You get it as part of the Edmonton Oilers meal, $16.99, chicken sandwich, 6 nugs, Cajun fries, medium drink, dipping sauce, and the Oilers Collector's Cup. People who've got them, good quality, good cups. They're just sitting over there. Terrific cups. Can't go wrong with those. Get it done at Popeyes. All right, let's get into your EM Utility Locating morning after show. Man, I guess we got to play the morning.
Yeah,
we got to get just a sec. I'll get that up. There's so much going on with all these new songs that Dallas and Nelson has dropped.
Well, also
in today.
the top 50 Blue Jays prospects is up at tsn.ca right now, plastering the front.
What? How many of those guys are they going to give away
hockey,
for
whatever.
nothing?
It's baseball season now, right?
That's probably going to happen at some point. Here we go.
There's something happening here. The Oilers look a lot better this year. Another win, put 2 points on the board. Telling me your faith is restored. I think it's time you stop, listen, here we go. Wake up with the morning after show. This year's team's looking strong. Connor and Leon, they can't do no wrong. 6 o'clockers are losing their minds. Getting so many messages on the text line. Think it's time you stop, listen, here we go. Wake up with the morning after show.
All right, it is your morning after show brought to you by EM Utility Locating. Visit them at emutilitylocating.com. We're talking GPR and concrete scanning, damage prevention, planning, design, education, and training. Anything that you got going on that involves something below the ground, EM Utility Locating can help you figure out how to do the job safety. They can train you how to do the job safely as well. So visit them at EM Utility Locating. We will get to your steady Eddie of the evening coming up in a little bit, but let's get to the EST. Big moment that happened. What are you going with, buddy?
Well, I said it earlier, trailing by a goal entering the final frame.
It's exactly what you wanted.
I mean, you can't draw it up any better than that against this Leafs team who hemorrhages comebacks. You saw the graphic they put on the screen. It was just, eighth when trailing, but like near the bottom when they're holding a lead. So trailing by a goal. I mean, the McLeod goal obviously was the one that stand to be the winner. I think early on, I mean, we talked too. They were hot out of the gate. They had that one quick Could have had maybe another.
Well, they hit the post on that one that would have put them up 2-0 early.
Yeah, and then they had another kind of chance as well in that kind of busy little moment to begin the game. So again, but even if they went up 3, you had a lot of track to come back and beat them anyway. So I don't know. The McLeod goal, obviously, to kind of get that lead. But you just entering the third, I kind of sat there, I was like, leading by a goal, hey?
Well, you can't tell me that, like, we're all sitting here saying it this morning. People would have been saying it last night. But you can't tell me that in that Oilers dressing room after 40 minutes, they weren't sitting there going, we got him right where we, and would have believed it. You know, like sometimes they'll say that.
But in that Leafs dressing room, certainly, I mean, there's some sort of, here we go again
they
in
have
the
to
back
sit
of your
there.
mind. So, yeah, it's funny. And McLeod, and look, you correctly pointed out, too. I mean, it was a fun game for the neutral, back and forth, the crowd.
Yeah, that would have been a really good game to watch.
Playoff atmosphere and all that. But, let's be honest, I think the better team did win. I think the Oilers, although the shots were somewhat even, I think they had better looks, more consistent pressure down deep. So, yeah, that deserve it of the win. McLeod with the goal, a beauty. Of course, Bouchard cashing in for us in the empty netter. Draisaitl and Derek Ryan, a little depth scoring mixed in. So, yeah, trailing by the goal, tongue-in-cheek, but the McLeod goal, obviously, to put them ahead for good.
Yeah, that would be a big one. I mean, I would just say Ryan McLeod's third period. Made a great play behind the net to find Derek Ryan, and then now the Leafs completely botched the defense's zone coverage on the winner. Like we talked about Matthews in front of the net with Connor McDavid and getting out of the way when that shot came through. But both of the defensemen were on the other side of the net. Like the Leafs, they had four guys literally covering nobody, and then Matthews was screening his goalie until he wasn't. So that was a little sloppy. But Ryan McLeod, I tweeted last night. I thought that might have been the most I've ever been impressed by Ryan McLeod in a hockey game. Like he just. And we'll get to, actually, you know what? Here's a big moment that happened last night. Knobloch putting McLeod and Draisaitl out there with McDavid for the shift that led to the game-winning goal. That's a masterclass right there. You're taking 3 guys from 3 different lines, putting them together, and it ends up in the back of the net.
That's not Coffey or Stewart.
I don't know how he does that.
That ain't Coffey or Stewart, right?
Knobloch. You genius.
Old KK.
That was pretty big. All right, super stat of the night. What are you going with, buddy?
Well, I think selfishly for us, it's the Bouchard goal.
Cash the Bouchard over the 10.5 goals. Was there ever a less sweatful bet than Bouchard over 10.5 goals this year? Plus, we got Bouchard over 44.5 points, which is right there. We're 3 points away? My God. Just a no sweat cash.
Happy January.
That was amazing. I'll go with this one. 926, 926, 926, 926. Stewie Skins, 926 last night. Many of the difficult variety. I thought he should have been one of the stars last night on the broadcast.
You want to fast forward to the 4th? I got it for you.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's a no-brainer for me.
I thought he was outstanding last night, so that definitely stands out.
And 300 career NHL points from Matthias Ekholm. Just wanted to make sure.
Matthias Ekholm banged out 300 over that career.
Good for him, yeah.
Yeah, nice for him.
But yes,
Skinner.
Skinner.
3 stars of the game, both in-house and online. Ryan McLeod, Derek Ryan, and Austin Matthews. 4th star of the game, that's an easy one.
You go Skinner. And getting run, like a little bit of physicality entering his crease at various moments during the game. But yeah, Stuart Skinner, he is him.
You know, it's funny because that was one thing I was thinking of. The physicality, and I know Stoff and Mac T talked about in the second intermission. Through 40 minutes, I did think the Oilers had been the better team, but I was more impressed with the Leafs' willingness to go to the net.
Yeah. And the same was in Detroit, too. I do believe last week with Lyon there, and they entered the final frame. They got a little more traffic in front of him, a little more busyness in front of him, and again with the McDavid screen, perfect example.
My 38th star of the game, I am going to go with John Tavares. He was -2 last night, had 5 shots on goal, played almost 18.5 minutes. But John Tavares just, what did they say? You said Stuart Skinner is who?
Him.
Yeah, John Tavares ain't him anymore.
He is not him.
You got to pay John Tavares $11 million again next year. I don't care if he slept naked with Leafs logos tattooed all over his body. That's a tough contract to swallow next year for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Even satin sheets?
John Tavares has never been fleet of foot.
Yeah.
Like he never has, but he still has had success and has had a tremendous career. I don't want to take anything away from the career of John Tavares. But he's not necessarily keeping up with the higher speed of games that are played at that type of level.
The modern day game, you can say. Derek Ryan, 200 career points as well. Spruce Grove Corey pointing that out. So adding to the
what a big night.
Milestones. Yeah.
What a big night.
Beating the Leafs. And
let's get into your EM utility locating steady Eddie of the evening. If you want your project to be as steady and smooth as possible, get it done with EM utility locating. The steady Eddie of the evening last night, I think with the way they played, there's a few options among the Edmonton Oilers last night. Who do we go with as the old steady Eddie last night? You know, maybe we'll go with Ekholm, just because you said, you know, he hit 300 points.
Sure.
He's always steady. Had the assist last night, +1, played just over 22 minutes. The Oilers' time on ice split very evenly among their top four last night. Bouchard played 22:47. Not a lot of power play time in this hockey game. CC 23:58, Ekholm 22:02, Nurse 23:23, and then Kulak and Desharnais played about somewhere between 12 and 14 minutes last night as well. All right, here's what we are going to do. We're going to get to a sports update for Green Plan. We are going to come back and hear some post-game reaction. Probably Stuart Skinner, maybe? Ryan McLeod. We'll get to Stuart Skinner or Ryan McLeod coming up. Dive into some interesting broadcast etiquette last night as well. And Jamie McLennan, free advice, Macramalla, all on the way in hour number 2. If you need a conch this morning, hit us up, 780-218-9999, or in the nasty chat as well. Penner's Pancakes is in. It says Vincent. Yeah, Vincent could have been in the mix there as well. Pretty steady.
You can name it the Steady Vincent Award.
4.5 minutes. Yeah, he could get it every... Yeah. He could get it every single night. It's like any night when McDavid's not one of the 3 stars, he could be the 4th star every single night. I thought McDavid, when the team wasn't going early, kind of cranked up the physical game a little bit to try to get them going, which I thought he was a man possessed last night. It didn't lead to like a huge point night, but I thought Connor McDavid knew that the spotlight was on him.
A captain's performance.
At least at a regional level, because the NHL's a joke. We'll get to that here as we work our way.
You got interviewed on TSN.
I saw that.
Did you see
James
that?
Duthie.
Amazing.
By James Duthie. That was pretty cool. Let's get to a sports update for Green Plan. We'll come back and hear from, let's hear from Ryan McLeod. He's been on a heater, 11 points in his last 10 games.
11th straight for the Oilers. They defeat the Leafs 4-2, ending Toronto its 4th straight loss. Ryan McLeod's 8th of the campaign would be the winner. Evan Bouchard sealing the affair into an empty net for his 11th of the season. Cha-ching. Leon Draisaitl is 21st, and Derek Ryan also notching his 4th. Stuart Skinner stopping 25 of 27 shots faced. Oilers welcoming the Kraken to town tomorrow night. Seattle losing on the road to the Rangers 5-2 yesterday. Jets doubling up the Islanders 4-2. Kings fall to the Stars 5-1. Flames getting past Arizona 3-2 in overtime, and Colorado defeating Ottawa 7-4. AJHL action. Sherwood Park Crusaders with a 5-3 win down in Black Falls. Grand Prairie 3, Drumheller 1, and the Brooks Bandits with a 6-1 win up in Fort McMurray. 4 games around the league later tonight, including the Crusaders visiting Calgary, while Bonnyville welcomes in Brooks. Montreal over New York 3-2 in the lone PWHL game. 2 games on tonight's schedule. Ottawa hosts Minnesota, while Boston visit Toronto. Joel Embiid had 41 as the Sixers top the Nuggets 126-121. Philly have won 3 straight to keep pace in a competitive top half of the NBA's East. Clippers knock off OKC 128-117, and the Suns over the Kings 119-117. Raptors, they're back on the court tonight when they host the Heat in one of 10 games around the NBA. Sports Update brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting services. Whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential, you can plan it right with Green Plan. Visit green-plan.com or give them a call, 780-455-4292.
Try. Leon scored a goal tonight. Watching him play is quite a sight. You know this song is tight. Oilers fans, come on. You loved him endlessly since he was drafted number 3. He's a center with a size that was born in Cologne. Try to stop him, you can't do much more. That ain't no lie. You just wanna see him shoot and score. It was try. Gonna make a fool out of you. Probably score a goal and assist on 2. You can't stop him, and that ain't no lie, 'cause it's try. Don't even try to play him rough. Leon is a German, so you know he's tough. His hands are crazy, and Aikens loves his eyes. Yeah, it's try. Gonna make a fool out of you. Probably score a goal and assist on 2. You can't stop him, and that ain't no lie, 'cause it's try.
Leon Draisaitl goal song on a goal that definitely should have been stopped. Jones sort of lost track of wherever that puck was. That puck should have never, ever gone in.
Get him on the net.
Even put backhanders on nets, kids. And I know some people are like, my God, that backhand from Leon. It was like a foot off the ice.
Disgusting angle.
Jones wasn't even turned the right way. If that goes in on Skinner, people are losing their mind. Yeah. But it got him going, and it made a big difference when it was all said and done. So, hey, Martin Jones, thanks for the assist. That worked out pretty well. We're going to get to more of your reaction. A lot of people chiming in. Loomis is in on the nasty chat and says, I didn't know I'd like a coach more than Woody. And I still miss Woody. But damn, has Knobs come in and looked the part. Never a hair out of place either. I mean, he looks like a TV dad behind the bench every single time I see him.
It's been night and day since the appointment, so it's tough to ignore.
Guys, I know it's not confessions, but I will admit at one point this season, I would have traded McLeod for a bag of pucks. I was sure Skinner wasn't the starting goalie and had done minimum 20 trades on Cap Friendly for a different goalie and stayed with the confidence that Ken Holland had no clue what he was doing. I guess that's why I'm an electrician and Ken Holland sits in the GM seat. That's in from the paddle boat, saying that he was wrong on a couple of these guys. I am stunned by what we've seen from Ryan McLeod recently. Like, McLeod has looked amazing.
Well, Texter can join the club. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think there are a lot of people.
There
are a few looking at the deep analytics and being like, yep. You just wait, you know. But, yeah, I mean, everybody was saying it.
It's worked out well lately. And here's what Ryan McLeod had to say after the game.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere at the LC. Had a lot of fans in here too, so high intensity. I think it almost felt like a playoff game. It was really, really fun though.
They scored
Yeah, just kind of got thrown together, and just kind of thought trying to get to the net as much as I can, and luckily I got a little wrap and a little bit of room. Connor kind of pulled everyone to him, so it worked out well.
Maybe you shoot the puck there, and that's the right play to make in a moment there. But is that just something that you're trying to do, is get that shot away when you can?
Yeah, there I was kind of looking past the whole way. I kind of drifted a little bit outside the dot, or a little bit out, and then kind of at the last second looked at the net and saw a little lane and took it and went in.
You have, when this coach came in, he talked about giving players roles. So you've got penalty kill, you've got guys, fourth line players taking tough matchups. Just maybe a thought on sort of the bottom six on this team and what it seems to be empowered to do.
Yeah, I think we're building something great. I think we're contributing in a lot of ways other than score sheet. I think we're, shutting down a lot of guys. We're doing amazing on the penalty kill right now, creating a lot of energy. So, the more we can do that, I think the more success we'll have in the top six and as a team. So it's been good so far.
Trailing going into the third period, you guys seldom look this comfortable with that. Can you just sort of let us in on what happens in here, when you're in that situation?
Yeah, when you win, 10 in a row, it's pretty confident group going into the third period. You think you're going to win many games, so kind of just went in with that confidence, and it came out on top.
What was it like going back to center after missing a game?
Maybe a shift or two, kind of a little bit off, but I picked it up kind of where I left off, and it's great.
Stu tonight just seemed to be there when you guys were maybe not quite there to begin with.
Yeah, he was amazing. He, we were down 2, but we could have been down, a few more, and he really kept us in the game even when we, just got one back. He, made a couple of huge saves, 2-on-1. He had a huge glove save, so, that game's, really doesn't happen without him.
Two heavy collisions in the crease with the goaltender.
Yeah, you never want to see guys going into your crease like that, and especially with the way Stewie's been playing, it's scary. So, glad he's okay, and he battled tonight. It was really fun to watch.
There you go. That's Ryan McLeod after the game last night. Ryan McLeod, not with like a cheap couple of points. Excellent play from behind the net to set up Derek Ryan for the game-tying goal. And then a nice shot, getting an opportunity from Knobloch to pop out there for a quick shift with McDavid and Draisaitl. and finds the top corner with McDavid parked right in the front of the net. So a big game for Ryan McLeod last night. And I think that was encouraging. What probably was the most encouraging about it is that not that it was like 11 wins in a row. For me, Ryan McLeod playing the way that he played last night in what he described there as a playoff-style game was pretty important for the upcoming playoff-style games that they are going to have to play this spring. So I thought that was a big game. He was asked a little bit about Stuart Skinner there. And Stuart Skinner, and I will ask this of Jamie McLennan as well, but for those of you who are watching on YouTube or listening on TuneIn or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, has Stuart Skinner not looked like a guy that can be a steady number one in the National Hockey League now? Like, does he not look like a guy who behind a team that properly defends could end up being he could be a championship goalie? Like you saw what happened with Aiden Hill. Aiden Hill was nothing special. He's nothing to write home about. But behind a good Vegas team, he was good enough. And I'm wondering if people are starting to view Stuart Skinner that same way.
Well, I think so. And you have to take the defensive improvement as well with that. But much like Ryan McLeod, I mean, people had their doubts and it depends which camp you're in. Yeah, they need to improve the blue line, or yeah, they need to improve goaltending. Maybe it's good but not great. But you're right. I think you can get away with good goaltending in this modern day NHL, proven that you have a blue line that's functioning to its, capabilities. And that's what you're seeing right now. So why not? And, again, as we kind of discussed to begin the week, and what do the Oilers do on the trade front and trade-wise, I mean, these things are proving to be more a difficult question now. Maybe he is him, and maybe you do ride him with this blue line, and maybe you can.
You really don't have an option anyway.
And it's okay.
Right?
No, I know. But as far as like divvying up time between him and say Pickard or something like that, right? Like maybe now maybe you can ride him for an extended period and not, feel, oh, he needs a little bit of a rest, or it's always good to have a guy going behind him. However,
I mean, the best thing would be
playing,
fresh Stuart Skinner going into the playoffs.
Fresh Stuart Skinner, sure. But if he can, look, they're letting in a goal, 2 goals, he's playing good. It's not like he's getting peppered every single night. So keep this thing going. And it's okay to have the differing thought at the beginning of the season, because it was night and day with Ryan McLeod, with Evan Bouchard, with goaltending. I mean, the whole bit. So
I just go back and watch the first 15 games of the year. Their goaltenders were hung out to dry all the time.
Like you would also argue that if you had a Hellebuck in there, you may be catching a few of those. That would be the debate.
I mean, but that's the best goaltender in the National Hockey League.
Yep.
So,
and there's only a couple of those.
But like the Matthews goal early in that game last night, there used to be 3, 4, 5, 6 of those open looks a game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. That's just not there anymore. So when the team is actually playing sound defense, Stuart Skinner looks like he's good enough to provide you with the goaltending that you need. Loomis is in and says, I think Stu can absolutely bring us home. I think that we may need a stronger backup. I also think shoring up the D-core is a must. Look, there are still going to be tweaks to this club prior to the deadline. I'd be stunned if Ken Holland just rolls right through the deadline and does nothing. With that being said, on the backup front, the team's playing so well right now. If you do want to find the odd spot to get Skinner a little bit of extra rest so he doesn't start 61, 62 games going into the playoffs, I'd be comfortable starting Pickard against the Kraken. And then you get Skinner back in there for the big game against Calgary on the weekend. I mean, I think that would. I really don't care what they do either way, but I think Pickard is good enough that you could mix him in against Seattle if you don't want to just keep running Skinner over and over and over again. Because Skinner's cruising along right now, but the last thing you want is to get to the postseason, and he's going to have to start every single game there. And he's started 62 or 63 games during the regular season. You're like, damn it, this is not ideal. So,
I don't think Pickard has done anything yet to make you doubt that he can come in and play that role.
No, not yet. Right? He's passed the tests that you have required him to pass so far.
Kraken have dropped 2 straight heading into tomorrow night too, eh?
They're not as hot anymore.
Flames have tied them on points and games played.
These aren't your grandparents' Kraken from the last couple of weeks. So you got that going for you. Let's get to it. A couple of other things that come right back around to the Oilers here at 7:05 with Jamie McLennan. And yeah, your thoughts on how the opinions have changed on both McLeod and Skinner over the last 30 games. Have they won you over at this point? Is it McLeod's been great for 10 games, but look what happened earlier. So, where are you at on these two guys right now? 2 important pieces. Like, can Ryan McLeod legitimately become a driver and make the third line something, that would be huge for this team. And are you confident in Skinner being the guy between the pipes on a championship club? 780-218-9999, or hit us up in the nasty chat as well. Eric Macramalla, our legal analyst, will be by around 7:45 today. EST legal analyst and guy who's surprisingly comfortable editing his own porn shoots, Eric Macramalla. He does it all on himself, which is nice. EST legal analyst and guy who's still surprised that he passed the bar, considering how much his puppet was screaming throughout the exam. I'm never going to pass this test. Surprise, you did. That's a good one. This is from Corey B. EST legal analyst and human equivalent of a participation trophy. That's
Get
pretty
him a
good.
little esty, hey? Like the Macramalla.
Yeah. ESC legal analyst and guy who finally quit answering his banana like it was a phone after finding out that insanity defense doesn't work when the lawyer's the one acting crazy. Hello?
The detail and the depth of these. That's what always gets me.
So keep those rolling in at 780-218-9999. ESC legal analyst and guy whose epic 3-week-long sword, fist, tickle fight with Mitch from Park Mazda set into motion the events that would save the world as prophesized. Yeah, that's a good one too. That's how you get in the mix for the A&W text of the day. And the text of the day will be presented obviously at the Estes. Let's bring in Edmonton Sports Talk COO Matthew Wannick, Mr. Lean. Matty, I don't know if we've got your comments yet on the idea that Eric came up with the name here for the Estes.
Brilliant.
Do you
Like
like
it? Brilliant.
You like the idea?
You're a fan of The
Brilliant.
Office, the Dundies?
Brilliant. Of course.
The Dundies, right? D'Angelo Vickers.
The Estes. Wow.
I got my first taste.
Those
of
were. That
D'Angelo
wasn't even
Vickers.
those were bad episodes.
The
Whoa.
one where he had when he had
The whole D'Angelo
original
Vickers
Dundies.
eras was
But when he
not
hosted the
strong.
Dundies, it was
The original, like when they did it at the Chili's in like season 1 or 2 or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
So, yeah,
That's the-
this
I
guy's-
didn't like the
this
the
gay's
era
been
of The
pumping up
Office.
D'Angelo.
I didn't like
Vickers
It's
D'Angelo
a train
Vickers.
wreck, and that's the funny part.
Look, I'm a huge Will Ferrell guy. He sent me when him and Michael Scott first met at the bar. He sent me that scene last time.
Here, drink this
And
soda.
and when he goes, yeah, everyone I know who skis is dead. It's
bad.
My
It's
God,
really bad,
This
but that's
character seems like somebody I can get into. But the Estes, it's a good idea.
It's a
right?
brilliant idea. It's not a good idea. It's brilliant.
I'm going to lay this out
brilliant.
there. I feel like the Estes aren't presented in this building. I feel
No,
like the Estes
no.
are presented
Chili's.
at a hall or something.
Why? I just like you know, it's the
Shane,
spot
that's
that would look really good, like just because it has that little extra platform.
Chili's at the airport?
No, because I don't want to. We're not dealing with security.
No, but we know the people at the airport. I mean, they probably.
It's still a security you have to get through to get to the
Bones could
Chili's.
sneak us through the back door.
No, Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge.
Hey.
They have that nice little rise.
The lights are bright. Yeah.
Yeah, they do have the rise up. By
Yeah,
the,
we could stand like whoever could stand up there
By
and
the
give
betting.
away something away. Yeah, there's that spot. But or we just go and like to like a Mr. Mike's or something. Well, go in the family restaurant like a Chili's and
Set
just
up shop.
completely ruin some other people's
An
nights.
A&W dining room. And
Yeah.
just set up shop there. Start
Welcome
plugging in mics and
to the first annual Estes.
what are you doing?
That's good. One of the
No,
categories.
but it can't be here, and it can't be
No,
like.
it can't be here.
No.
It's also like I'll say this: it's not streamed.
No, it's not. It's invite only.
Yes,
We rent
It's
some
recorded
limousines
for
and-
highlights. But
and just
that's
for
it.
for ours, but like, it's gonna. You want to be there.
I like the idea of us renting out the Garneau Theater.
You're
And
dreaming.
it seats like hundreds, but
And
we
we
only
like
have
20.
like 20 people there. I think that would be great. And then there's a huge stage, and people
Yeah.
come up. You can drink there.
We have an intermission.
Welcome to the Estes. It's just Gager and Cass and Quinn Phillips sitting there. That's it.
and everyone else is a seat filler.
Yeah, imagine.
There's
like,
a lot of places you could do. Just like you could go to Nate, and they have their whole atrium and stuff. I don't know how much that
Very
would
nice.
cost.
Very nice.
We could go to like I go get the Jube
Yeah, that would be great.
Dream big here, boys.
Excuse me, can we contra the Jube? You can
with
Well,
full
what do you do?
sound system too. Like we get the
very
whole
expensive.
audio
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, but Zacticum's working all the lights at the same time. So anyway, the Estes are. We just need to make sure we track it. I've started a folder here I've started an Estes folder with some possible categories. Text of the year, which means we would have to invite some nasties to be there to possibly.
Oh no,
accept text
nasties
of
will
the
have to be there.
Or you could accept via video link if you can.
Oh, and
We'll have somebody present an award and have to be like, I don't know.
Make it tonight.
Savage the plumber couldn't be here tonight, so
Gage
I will
accepts all
accept this
of it, yeah.
award on his honor.
The original AM Nasty Song of the Year. We've got some contenders. John T. Victoria have to fly him out. Even if he doesn't win, like that's a major. What happened? Well, I spent money flying out to Edmonton to finish runner-up in the SD Award for Song of the Year. Show of the Year, which I originally thought would be individual shows, but now I like the idea of just putting all of our shows head-to-head.
He's winning
Okay,
it.
yeah.
Being on every show except for the hang. Well,
Yeah.
Who picks the winners?
It's a great question, too.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Secret ballot.
Yeah.
It's either secret ballot or do we like
Mail-in vote.
create like a panel of 3
Oh, that's interesting.
led by Dave Jameson.
God, Dave Jameson.
We submit all the stuff to them and
You take it
they
extremely
evaluate
seriously.
it. Dave and 2 others sit there and evaluate everything we send them and they secretly pick it. We have our own academy.
The Academy.
So you can thank the academy after.
We think Kent Morrison or Josh Clausen should host.
Oh.
That would be great.
No disrespect. Together?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Let them share the
That would
stage.
be good.
Yeah, yeah.
Although Clausen might be up for an award.
He might be up for an award.
He had that rap. Oh, but that was last year.
Yeah, it was, well, but this
Yeah.
thing's going to go December to December, basically. December 1st to December 1st.
Or do we do September through August and do it early fall?
What do you mean?
So we go September 23 through August 24, and in September, October,
Oh.
we're giving out awards
that's
for
not
the
a
year
bad idea
prior.
for the first
Just
year.
like the awards do.
That's a pretty
December's
good
pretty
idea.
busy, so maybe you do
Like,
it.
and then we could do it early fall or whatever,
Yeah,
and
out of the
but
way and-
we have like a little
I like it. I like it. That's a good idea.
schedule there that we keep track of some things.
The drafter of the year or the single draft performance of the year.
I think episode of the year of a show.
Episode of a
like if
show.
you're gonna have the shows go up
Yeah,
against
yeah.
each
But
other, but you
episode
could
of
also
the
have
year
like
is good, too.
the best Nielson show
Yeah, yeah.
and the best Hango, and maybe there's like 2 oil streams or something. And
Yeah, that'd be good. The hot take of the year or the best hot taker of the year. That's a good one.
the best hot take of the year.
Yeah. That'd be good.
100%.
So we have to remember all the hot takes. We should.
That's
we should
easy to
start
do, though.
saving them and-
Documenting.
But
it.
that's like that one's easy to grab afterwards.
Yeah. The AM Nasty of the year, like the listener of the year. They show up to a lot of things. They text in. They're subbed on YouTube, like a bunch of that type of stuff. The most dramatic exit of the year, like with people up and walking off. Like Eric's already got 2 nominees in
Memorial.
Well, I've got one I would say for that
Okay,
one.
yeah.
Well, I challenged you guys and then I resigned.
That's true.
Like I think
That's
that
true.
has to be
We
in
welcomed
there.
you back.
I'm going to type it in right now. Awanik bailing as commish. Even though he was in for full reinstatement.
100% retention.
Some people in the nasty chat, Penner's Pancakes, Donnie Boy at Northside, conch of the year, best use of the conch.
The best use of the conch. God, I love that. There's always some like really emotional conches throughout the year.
Yeah.
Right?
And like every year we could give out like the Lifetime Achievement Award to something
Yeah. Oh, a Lifetime Achievement Award. That's good.
of some sorts. I don't know of what.
Yeah, I like that. I like that too. We could all eventually win it. Yeah. What about the Not On Time Achievement Award for Tommy Gazzola?
The Tommy. You got a Tommy.
These are all good suggestions, so keep those rolling in here at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. This is going to be fun. I do like the idea of in a huge theater where we only have 20 to 30, maybe 40 people. Who knows? I mean,
But
40
just
people.
what you said. I mean, that's an hour and a half of runtime right there. We're stretching.
I'd let the Marshall and Muzz stay up late just to come attend.
Yeah, put it on
and
CTV2.
it's suits.
Yeah.
It's all
Oh,
suits.
full
suits.
Yeah. Velcro dress shoes.
You
the
know,
whole bit.
we'll do a full red carpet.
Ah, yes.
That will stream right on ESD
That would be
YouTube
good.
channel.
Okay.
What are you wearing? Who are you wearing tonight?
Who are you wearing?
Big and George, men's tall store. All right, so keep those rolling in. 780.
Try to get one celeb to randomly give an award away, but not knowing what they're signing up for. Like getting a Ryan McLeod to come out, convincing the Oilers to get, Stoff can hand out an award.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. We could trick him into that.
We could trick him.
Okay, I want to get to this because I don't know how much time we're gonna have to come back around to this. Listen to this. This is a back and forth. So this is Iron Eagle, eh? I wasn't aware of it last night at the time, but I mean, I've viewed him as one of the best in the biz, and he's just finally had enough. Like I said, you'll never hear something like this in a CFL booth because I call the majority of my games with one of my best friends on the planet, Glenn Suter. But how about this last night?
Threes coming from all over the place, and then everything that could go wrong, foul, ball goes in, N1, stops the clock, turnover, missed free throws when you got fouled. It was crazy.
Could I make one point?
Sure can.
I just want to say that earlier, you had a very patronizing tone towards me. I fully understand what a slip screen is. I've been doing the NBA for 18 years. But the way you presented it initially was gobbledygook. So, like the audience, I wanted you to come back and explain yourself. And you then just took a firing line on me, and it was uncalled for.
I don't think so.
That's exactly what happened.
You are overly sensitive to
I am not.
Did you have a bad day today?
It's second game of a back-to-back.
The ride back from
very
Philly,
tough.
did it disturb you last night?
That was 2 hours with you, which is probably the reason why I've had enough tonight. Timeout.
How about that?
Timeout.
Like, that's not a bit. Do you think those two guys get along? Like, that could be one of those situations where you're such good buddies with the guy that you can feel like you're comfortable calling him out like that.
There's a mutual respect,
Yeah.
a workman's type
Yeah.
of, they probably
Or
hash it out all the time.
Or it's like you don't really like the dude and you finally had enough and the serenity nows aren't working anymore and this just has to. But this was on an NBA broadcast last night.
The Iron Eagle delivery is just, it never fails. But in this form,
Yeah.
I mean,
that surprised me a lot. Maddie, like, extremely unprofessional or had to be said?
did you hear the original? Him patronizing him, I guess.
No, I didn't hear that part.
No,
to
I didn't
it.
hear that
I'd
either.
love to hear that. Go back in the tape.
I would think that, like, Iron Eagle is such a great broadcaster,
Yeah.
such a great play-by-play guy, that this is warranted.
Like the final
This
straw.
is something that has been bubbling, or like that. However it was announced earlier, like straight up. If the color guy fully called him out for something and made him look terrible, like, I wouldn't be shocked about it. I do, like, I've heard this a few times now. I do feel like there's a little bit of smiling at the end. That it was then it started off as like, hey, that was rude what you did, and then after they were playfully jawing at each other with the I was on the bus with you, ha ha ha, that type of thing, maybe. But yeah,
2
I'll
hours enough
say
is kind of
there
a
had a
joke,
bit. Iron Eagle's not just gonna call something out just for the sake. Like, I think there was something bubbling there.
I can just see the people in
and
the
he
truck
just
being
finally
like,
went.
Oh, here we go. Like, they've been waiting. They've had a pool on it. Like, when's Iron Eagle going to finally snap on this guy? But you're hearing a smile at the end here?
I don't know. Like, once they start saying, like,
Here, I got
I was on the bus and stuff, I feel like I'm hearing Iron Eagle smile.
Are we hearing a smile here? Let's listen.
Don't think so.
That's
at all.
exactly what happened.
You are overly sensitive to
I am not.
Did you have a bad day today?
It's second game of a back-to-back.
The
It's
ride back from
very
Philly,
tough.
did it disturb you last night?
That was 2 hours with you, which is
that
probably
with
the
you,
reason why-
I feel like there's a little playfulness now.
Maybe.
Timeout.
There's one clip in there that we would usually have a lot of fun with, but it's so out there, I don't even know what we would do.
But the way you presented it initially was gobbledygook.
Like, I can't even sit here this morning and be like, work in all of your gobbledygook text messages, because I don't know how that would happen. But anyway, that was happening on an NBA broadcast line. Speaking of broadcasts, and nothing against the regional broadcast, but not having McDavid and Austin Matthews playing in a national game. Like, there were portions of the country last night that were blacked out and couldn't watch Connor McDavid play Austin Matthews. Epic fail. Not a good look for the National Hockey League. As we've said for a long, long time, market your stars. These are two guys, we're not even talking about market south of the border where it should be done too. Let them play head-to-head on national TV in Canada. What are we doing here? Doofish P says, beyond unprofessional, or was it just a bit for the show? Esty, the worst and best contestant for Kind of Easy Trivia. Or do you have that already? We didn't have that category yet. We had another loss on Monday, Maddie. 2 Mondays in a row we've had losses.
Oh, I heard.
This is ridiculous.
I heard.
All right, Jamie McLennan is on the way. We'll get his thoughts on Stuart Skinner. Is Stewie Skins the real deal? And what the hell has gotten into Ryan McLeod? And when are the Leafs going to fire their head coach? We'll get into all that with Jamie McLennan coming up here just after 7 o'clock. Free advice on the way. Cool Bet hotline of the day on the way. Eric Macramalla straight from the U.S. Embassy will join us on the show this morning. Keep those Macramalla intros flying in as well. Your Edmonton Oilers have won 11 in a row. If you are here watching right now, make sure you subscribe to Edmonton Sports Talk on YouTube. We would love to have you. And if you're listening on TuneIn, make sure you tell your friends how damn easy it is to listen on the TuneIn app. Let's get to a sports rewind with Lieutenant Eric.
11 straight for the Edmonton Oilers. They double up the Leafs 4-2, handing Toronto its 4th straight loss. Oilers welcome in the Kraken tomorrow night. Seattle losing on the road to the Rangers last night 5-2, their 2nd straight loss after winning 9 straight. Jets double up the Islanders 4-2. Kings falling to Dallas 5-1. Flames coming from behind to get past Arizona 3-2 in overtime. And Colorado defeating Ottawa 7-4. 4 games around the AJHL later tonight, 3 yesterday. Sherwood Park Crusaders with a 5-3 win down in Black Falls, Grand Prairie 3, Drumheller 1, and the Brooks Bandits with a 6-1 victory up in Fort McMurray. Montreal beating New York 3-2 in the lone PWHL game. 2 games dot tonight's calendar. Ottawa host Minnesota and Boston visit Toronto. Joel Embiid had 41 points as the Sixers defeated the Nuggets 126-121 in NBA action. Raptors are in active trade talks with the Pacers that would send forward Pascal Siakam to Indiana. This according to Sham Charania of The Athletic. Raps back on the court tonight. They'll host the Heat, one of 10 games around the NBA. Sports update brought to you by Universal Rewind. LTIR for your electric motors doesn't exist. Contact Universal Rewind to have them properly maintain your motors. Choose experience, expertise, and quality. Choose Universal Rewind.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.703 on The Nielson Show. Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric with you. The Nielsen Show uninterrupted. Tell your friends. We're not going away for 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, 10 minutes with commercials. We're just providing with that content all the way through the day up until 9 o'clock. Hangout coming up today at 9 o'clock. Who do we got on the Hangout today, Matty?
Mark Mageau.
Mark Mageau in the house today.
Big Daddy.
Now I feel bad. Because I just dropped a new episode of the MCTV podcast on Monday.
You haven't listened yet?
I haven't listened to it yet. I've been listening to the rewatchables of The Town, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a great podcast.
I like what Bill Simmons has done with some of the entertainment podcasts that they've done.
Yeah, rewatchables is great. They do a lot of good stuff. So anyway, I was into that. But the most recent episode of Mageau's podcast with CG will be next on the list. That's probably this afternoon when I'm doing some work. I'll have that bad boy on. Looking forward to that. So Mark Mageau will be in today. Tommy Gazzola is going to be in today on the Hangout as well. Should be a great discussion. And it's just great seeing Mageau, man. I'd love to have Mageau around all the time. He's the best.
We don't need you today, Eric. I texted you yesterday. We're good now.
There you go. Now we're good.
I forgot to say that this morning.
Jamie McLennan is going to pop by. He'll be by here in just a few moments' time. Cool Bet hotline of the day coming up here as well. The Edmonton Oilers have won 11 in a row. A win over the Kraken tomorrow would make it 12. And then a big one against the Calgary Flames this upcoming weekend.
We're heating up.
Imagine pushing a win over the Flames to push it to 13 straight. With the way the season started, I don't think we could have called, even the biggest homer would not have said they're going to win 19 of 22 at one point.
We said they needed to, but yes.
But nobody was like, go on a heater?
Right?
Sure, go on a heater. But go on like back-to-back heaters with just a small little blip on the radar in the middle. That just seems so unlikely.
Yeah, the other heater seems such a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, remember when they won 8 in a row?
Yeah.
Oh, nobody cares about winning 8 in a row. That's lame. What you need to do is win 11 in a row, which is what they have done right now. It's rather remarkable. Jamie McLennan is brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists, located in Edmonton at St. Albert Trail on 128th Ave, 1 block north of the Yellowhead, or online. That's easy. That's on your phone. That's on your computer. Maybe one day it'll be on your glasses, right? You just click like this and go right to a website. That'd be cool. Proamsports.ca. Like you, they are sports nerds too. Noodles, happy Wednesday, buddy. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. How you guys doing today?
I would assume our markets are in different spots this morning, right?
Oh, I would think so. I mean, listen, 11 in a row with a little 3-game bump, and then you throw 8 in there. Like, it's any way you slice it, it's impressive what the hell they've been doing. It's crazy. I mean, they played so well. And then you look at the flip side is the Maple Leafs. There's high expectation, there's high pressure, and now they fell into the habit here of handing leads away. So it'll be interesting around this market. I was in Ottawa, did that game last night, rushed back to my hotel room, and then watched the Oiler-Leaf game. And I'll say this: it was great hockey. That's good hockey. I'd like to see those teams face off more. I don't know if you guys were in the building, but through the TV, it felt like the atmosphere was unbelievable. And, it didn't disappoint. It was good hockey, but in the end, the team that's rolling, they found a way to get it done. The one thing I'll say, and I don't know if you guys have been talking about it already, is the Oilers have found, I don't know if it's a formula, because they could score goals, but they're more patient. Like they're not chasing the game. They get behind 2-0. They're not opening it up and going, hey, let's try and score 3 in one shift. It's like, hey, we're going to methodically chip away. And I think that's impressive, because even if they don't have their A stuff like in Montreal, they just kind of played and they got some good goaltending. But ultimately, they found a way to get it done by not just opening the game up and chasing that. So I don't know if that's a maturity level, if that's a groove, if that's coaching, if it's goaltending, all of that lumped into one. But they look very impressive. And yes, all hell will be breaking loose in Toronto today.
Yeah, well, we'll get to the Leafs coming up here in a little bit. I want to start with Stuart Skinner, whose numbers have just been absolutely outstanding. You talked about the teams playing more patient. They're definitely playing so much better defensively.
And you said early on they needed to grow up.
Well, yeah. I mean, we talked about it. I said they need to start playing mature hockey, which is kind of what Noodles just described. Like, that's what they're playing now. But with Stuart Skinner, I mean, how much is this being a product of the system that this team is playing right now? And we were asking people this morning, like, with the way Skinner's played for the last month and a half, he looks like a goaltender that you don't need to ride to a championship, but a guy that wouldn't stop you from winning one. Is that fair?
I think it's fair. The way that they've played right now, that seems like the formula. How Vegas won. Some of these teams that have won in the past have had, good goaltending at the right time. I say this league now should just be called goalie, because if you've got goaltending, you're not worried about it. If you don't get the big save at the right time, that is where your team struggles. And to me, in this stretch, we'll call it 20 some games, 22, 23 games, Skinner has given them the goaltending that they've needed. Stability, big save at the right time, calmness. That being said, they're not giving up. You remember I remember coming on, I feel like it was the next day in Minnesota, Jack Campbell they had this second period where it was like, I'd never seen a pro hockey team play like that, where it was just chance after chance after chance. I think Campbell ended up getting pulled in that game, but it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous hockey. They're not playing that anymore. They're playing patient. They're playing to their strengths with some structure. And even looking at the analytics. So last night, for example, the high danger chances were 18-11 for Edmonton. Like, I thought Edmonton, by the end of the night was the better team. But there were some chances in there for both teams. But that being said, there were nights we're watching the Oilers and they were giving up 20 high danger chances, 24, and slot shots at 27, like ridiculous numbers. That's not the case right now. So the goaltender's given them an opportunity. I'd still like to see, I know Pickard's been great. I'd like to see one more guy in the mix there to take some of the burden off. Stuart Skinner's the guy. That's their guy. There's no question there. But I'd like to see another veteran in the mix. in case there's an injury, inconsistency, and somebody maybe who's won before. I'd love to see a Marc-Andre Fleury type of thing if they could land.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Just a solid citizen, can still play, knows how to win, all of that stuff, and would be a terrific mentor for Skinner, a safety blanket on the bench if you could make that happen.
What about Ryan McLeod? 11 points in his last 10 games. They've moved him around. Last night he sets up Derek Ryan while playing on the third line. Then Knobloch with just a master stroke, throwing Draisaitl, McDavid, and McLeod out there together, and they go and get the game winner. Confidence is just such a drug in the National Hockey League, isn't it?
It is. I mean, there were times where I felt like that kid, and I call him a kid because he's still, developing to an everyday NHLer. There were times where I felt like he was never going to score and he'd never get to the middle of the ice.
Yeah.
I mean, he's, arguably, you got McDavid who's on a different planet, but as far as his speed, he has pushback speed. And he should be using that every time he's on the ice. If he gets a chance to go to the middle of the net, go to the middle ice, driving that, because defensemen would not be able to handle his speed. And I think you're right. Confidence is a drug, but you're seeing him play with more swagger, shoot the puck instead of passing it. Some of his decisions have been really good. So we're seeing a maturation process of Ryan McLeod right in front of our eyes, where I would argue probably 2 or 3 months ago, we're having conversations on this show saying, would he be a trade piece to bring in maybe a more mature Ryan McLeod to help this group get out of that funk? So, kudos to, I don't know, I keep coming back. I don't know how you guys feel, but, Ken Holland, some of the best moves he's made is not making moves and just allowing this team to get out of this funk, to play to their capabilities. And not everybody's at the top of their game right now. Evander Kane is a guy I think that we need more from. But at the end of the day, I thought he had a real couple big bursts last night. I thought he was physical. He was, I noticed him, put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Bingo. Yep.
And I think it's coming. But McLeod has really found a groove here. And I think it's a positive thing that, again, Chuck Knobloch, gets an opportunity. I think he's been unbelievable as far as just finding, okay, that guy's going, I'm just going to find an extra shift for him. Find a little nugget here to get him with the big boys. And to me, Chris Knobloch has just done an unbelievable job, kind of quietly, because he's not a big personality. He's just like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and let's see how this unfolds. And it's worked out.
Yeah, it's more tweaking than panicking, which is what we seem to see a little bit from Woody back in the day.
Well, I think there's just a quiet confidence about him. And I don't know if I shared this with you guys. I might have, where, I've been around the league talking to coaches, and the amount of people that have respect for Chris Knobloch, and it was weird. You're talking to rival coaches and going, that guy's really sharp. And I'm like, okay, I think when he got hired, there were people that had to hockey DB him and go, okay, where'd this guy come from? Obviously, I knew who he was. I'm an Edmonton guy, U of A, all of that. And I had a buddy who coached him in Lethbridge. So I like I say, I've known of him for many years. And a really sharp guy, really cerebral guy. Not this huge personality, but smart. But the amount of respect that he is garnering through the league right now is really, really impressive.
You mentioned quiet confidence when it comes to Knobloch and the Oilers, and for the Leafs, I mean, right now that's almost the complete opposite, blowing yet another lead. You knew this road trip was going to be a buzzsaw for them right now. They're hemorrhaging goals. We can't let you go without kind of toying around with this red meat. Oilers fans are loving this morning. So where do the Leafs take things from here? How do you see the rest of this road trip going, and what's the temperature down out east?
The temperature is high. If the underpants cam, I'm sure we're going to have what's called the underpants cam, which is the level of 0 to 50, 50 being a giant skid mark. I think they're at about 49 right now. Just based on, losses, where they are in the standings, players not playing to their potential. The defensive core seems like there's obviously some work to be done there. Giving away these leads, that's usually younger teams. I've watched Ottawa do that. They're a team that still needs to get to the next level from a maturation process. That's not the Leafs. The Leafs are an older team. They're a veteran team now. So there is a lot going on there. I would say, there's positives to draw from their game. Obviously, Austin Matthews, 34 goals, and he's a beast when he can be. Mitch Marner's getting points. William Nylander's kind of hit the skids here a little bit since signing that contract.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, cha-ching.
That is not timely, guys. I'll be honest. But you look at the bigger picture. For me, I think you try and take some positives from last night's game because I think there was some, and then you move forward. The problem is Calgary's not an easy out. They're playing really good hockey right now. Vancouver is top of the league. I just looked at this the other day. Vancouver has only lost 2 in a row twice. Like it's crazy how they're. And I made a case the other day, and of course I got beat up by Vancouver Twitter. I said there's a chance that the Oilers could catch them, and people were like, "You're crazy," and I said, "Well, hear me out. If they were going to, you use the games in hand. So now they're 13 games behind, or 13 points behind them, 4 games in hand, and they've got 1 head-to-head. So you got to win the games in hand, and you got to win that head-to-head. And at some point is Vancouver's PDO. I'm not sure if you guys are big analytics people, but it's like one of the highest in the modern history at almost 106. So if you look at it, there might be some regression with Vancouver, and if the Oilers continue to just chip away, they're not going to win every night, but if they continue to play 750 hockey, there is a chance they could get there. So that was my case for it. But Toronto's in one because now they go down to Calgary and then they go to Vancouver. Those are 2 really good teams, but I'd say they need to play a full 60 minutes.
Oh, they got a home and home with the Jets at the end of the month, too, which is not going to be easy either. So that's Craig Button was on yesterday. He basically fired Keefe 3 times during the segment. Is that a panic conversation, or if they win 1 game on this road trip and go home having lost 6 of 7 or 7 of 8 or whatever it is, and maybe things don't go well in the head-to-head with Winnipeg, which wouldn't surprise me. That does that have to happen? Or is it not there just yet, I guess? I
mean, I think everything's on the table.
Yeah,
you're not getting crazy and trading, Matthews or anything like that. I think what, Brad Treliving has to do is look at layers here and steps and go, okay, where is my goaltending at? Where's my defensive core at? Where is the depth of my group at? And really, where is the confidence and psyche? So, I could almost say, that's what Ken Holland was probably doing 2 months ago, right? So Ken Holland was probably going, hey, I need to breathe. I need these guys to breathe a little bit. But he did make the coaching change. That was the thing. Now, I'm not sure if that came from above. I mean, there's whispers if that's, is that the owner? Is that Jeff Jackson? Either way, Ken Holland made the move and then left the team. And there has been a resurgence. The easiest thing is to fire the coach because you can't fire the players. But I would argue there's still a trade or 2 to be made for the Leafs before you get there because, they've got money to spend on the John Klingberg LTIR. So that was the situation. Ryan Reeves is on LTIR. So you can grab players to try and bolster your roster before you fire the coach, but they might go hand in hand. I'm not there yet with Sheldon because I think this team needs to play better and to their capabilities, certain players. But that being said, I think everything's on the table. And as you mentioned, this road trip, and then you throw in a home and home with Winnipeg, if the temperature continues to rise because they don't get wins, I think everything's on the table.
It'll be above 50 on the chart, hey?
It'll be like the underpants cam. You'll blow right through it. You'll be on your 3rd pair for sure.
Noodles, appreciate it, buddy. We'll catch up again next week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
There you go. That is Jamie McLennan, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Swing on by Pro-Am, just north of the Yellowhead on St. Albert Trail. And if you are looking to, people are fired up right now. The Oilers have won 11 in a row. You want to add a little something to the old man cave or whatever you want to call it, the fan cave.
Or maybe ask for some Leafs, the Leafs underpants or something like that. Hey, get a little wink joke.
No
Burn the Leafs today. It's one of those days, right?
Yeah.
You revel in it, swim in it.
Go visit the Cooks and Boys at Pro-Am, and they will take care of you. Nasty Chat is where you can get in. You can also text us anytime. Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. And, McLeod has been great as of late. I'm sure, he's not going to continue to clip along the rest of the season at a point per game. But if you can get 3 points every 4 games out of Ryan McLeod, you're going to be extremely happy with what he can bring to the table there. I think the Skinner conversation is the really fascinating one right now, because there were some inconsistency. Like, we have to remember that Stuart Skinner, the original plan wasn't for him to be in this spot yet, right? They signed Jack Campbell to be the number 1 and for Stuart Skinner to be the 30 to 35 to maybe 40 game guy. But the progress plan for Skinner obviously elevated due to the struggles of Campbell last year. He's already got a taste of the playoffs. Now he's a legitimate number 1 for this team. There's no debating it like there was coming into the season, if you believe that there was a debate coming into the season. Now we're at the point where the question is simple. Can the Edmonton Oilers win the Stanley Cup with Stuart Skinner between the pipes? He's not going anywhere. There's not like, oh no, they're going to move and get this guy. That's not the conversation here. He's your guy. Is he good enough to win a Stanley Cup? 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or you can hit us up in the nasty chat as well. I mean, if I have to answer that question, I think it would be yes.
Right now, yes.
With the team playing the way they are, yes, Stuart Skinner is enough between the pipes to get it done for.
The pendulum has swung. Do you see it, though, swinging yet again, as they tend to do sometimes, right? There's a bit of the Marc-Andre Fleury thing is quite tantalizing. And somebody brought up Patrick Maroon the other day. Did they not?
Was it on our show or was it on Oil
guys,
Stream?
something like that?
One of them.
I just heard it floated out there. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, if you could throw a Marc-Andre Fleury behind Stuart Skinner.
I don't know what you do.
Because that's one of those situations. I know Fleury's not what he once was, but if Skinner was to stumble in the postseason, like last year, Woodcroft would have never gone to Jack Campbell in a million years. Like, it brought him in some games and he played well, but he would never start him. If you had to start a multiple-time Stanley Cup champion between the pipes, I think that would go a long way.
And as Nulis points out, a guy that's comfortable with that stage. Like, I mean, it would be a...
He'll just ride along and help Skinner too.
That scenario would just be so good, and a generally good guy. And I mean, you throw in a Maroon in there and bring him home or something like that. I mean, I know kind of the Bukestad thing. I was kind of on hot and heavy for a bit, but that would be show me your work. Let's get that over the line some way, some form.
That'd be nice, eh? This text is in from Bobby LaFrench. Hey lads, listening from Maniwaki, Quebec today. Hometown of the Beast, Gino Ojic. Gino Ojic, man, that was a name. That was a tough dude. Watched the game with some Leafs fans last night, and between their tears, they were full of compliments for Skinner and the Oilers' defense.
That's good.
Absolutely amazing. This text is in. By the way, put it on the map. We got a few places we got a map after this. Sisseep Lake, Ontario.
Yeah.
Jasmine texted in at about 3 a.m. from Tulum. That's down in Mexico. Some guy texted in and told us that his buddy wanted us to throw Chongqing, China on the map.
I think that'll be our first pin.
That'll be our first pin in China. Yeah. So we worked our way into China. And then this Maniwaki in Quebec. So that's good. Busy pin mapping section. Map pinning segment later on today here in the Edmonton Sports Talk offices. Guys, if Skinner plays like he did last night, we're in good hands. Well, of course. I mean, if any goalie plays awesome and stands on their head, you're going to be in good hands for this team moving forward. Guys, I believe in Skinner, but would you be a little bit concerned with playing too many games? Learn from last year's playoffs. Give him a backup or play Pickard more to see what you have. Yeah, we've already talked about this. We said it, but we talked about this for about a week.
I think most people would agree.
Yeah, he's on pace for like 60, 61 starts.
But you do feel
not ideal.
You do feel a little more confident now in that, saying, "Hey, maybe you could, run him a little more."
Well, but it's not like they're running him ragged.
No,
with 3 starts in 4 days or anything like that. Like the Oilers, especially here in January, the schedule in January is. It's like they said to Ken Holland before the year, hey, put together your ideal January. And he's like, okay, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for an entire month.
Each GM gets a crack at that. Like
1 month where you get to, now February and March. I already know how this is going to go. The Oilers are going to roll January. And then, they're going to lose a few in February. They're going to lose a few in March, and people are going to be panicking again. But it's okay. They're crushing the schedule right now. It's not that difficult. but they're getting the confidence level of a lot of individuals and the overall team rolling to the point that when you get into some of these tough spots, you'll be able to plow through.
They're putting things in the tool belt right now that they can use for a ladder project, I guess. Tommy Rubella, check the receipts. I called 20 in a row.
Nobody calls 20 in the row legitimately, though.
He says check the messages. He led with check the messages. You got the Kraken. You mentioned the Flames Saturday night. The Oilers then welcome in the Blue Jackets, Blackhawks, and Preds. Visiting the Golden Knights to kick off the February schedule.
Skinner is better than Aiden Hill, and he won a cup. Enough said. Well, and he's better than what Colorado had in that when they won the cup, too. Right now. So I think that's probably working okay. Do fish peas in. It says Leafs media blasting Matthews on the McLeod goal. Dude flinches, gets out of the way instead of trying to block the shot. Yeah.
We should put on a little 1050 this morning. Hey,
that wasn't we should just.
Remember we did that? We had the
Matty,
calls
can we stream 1050 for the next hour and a half and just sit here with our reaction?
You got to take these mornings when they come, right? Like, just
that'd be
like a pig in slop.
That would be pretty funny, actually. That's good. Guys, everyone's looking for Skinner's job security. Doesn't matter how many first goals he lets in. Come on, man. You're gonna like that was on Skinner last night, the first goal against?
Credit to the league.
Please.
That was a
wide open, league's leading goal scorer,
buzzing.
8 feet out.
Buzzing.
Nobody anywhere near him. Come on. Don't use last night's first goal as a conversation there. Tyler texts in and says, put Lumsden, Saskatchewan on that map.
Oh, yeah.
If it's not pinned already. It's not pinned.
Great beef jerky there, too.
What?
Good meat shop in Lumsden is a jewel, a hidden gem,
really?
if you will. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Down in the valley.
All right, let's get to the 2-minute betting segment that people will complain about later on. It's your Cool Bet hotline of the day, featuring a special appearance from one Mr. Lean, hardly ever seen, but he's here today.
FA Cup replays, Matty?
No.
You're not going soccer today?
I was looking at those.
Yeah?
No. I'm looking at a Canadian.
Looking at a Canadian.
Going to the Aussie Open. Felix Auger-Aliassime. He takes to the court later tonight, 10 o'clock. He won his first-round match in 5 sets. It took him a little bit to take care of business, but he's got the Frenchman Grenier he's going up against today. There was 2 I was looking at. I'm going to go with maybe more of the riskier one. He's not going 5 sets again. I don't see him going in 3 straight. So Felix Auger-Aliassime winning in 4 sets, it's plus 250. I like that number. I like those odds. I would lean towards Felix Auger-Aliassime today, winning in 4 sets. So that's the lean that I'm going with for the Cool Bet lean of the day, I guess, if you will, is Felix Auger-Aliassime, 3-1 set betting plus 250. If you go to coolbet.com and you find the match, it's just if you click inside there's I think if you go into winner, there's the set betting, and that's where you can get the 3-1 plus 250 for Felix Auger-Aliassime, scheduled to take to the court later tonight. I think it's 10 o'clock tonight, but anyone familiar with tennis knows that will be a little bit later than
Love the Aussie Open times, much like the Formula One. It's just a nice kind of...
I prefer the U.S. Open the most because you get the marquee matchup at like 8 o'clock our time at night, and that goes to like 11 o'clock or whatever, and just ending your night, but not too crazy. I'm a big
you don't like the too crazy.
I'm a big U.S. Open fan.
Mornings,
Pardon?
You're working these early mornings, but
even just normal. Like I don't know.
Dodgers baseball.
I don't need to watch Felix Auger-Aliassime at 1 a.m. or something like that.
No, you don't.
So,
what are you doing tonight? I'm staying up late to watch tennis.
You don't do that in the first week for sure.
No, finals though, and things.
You
like
get
that,
into
like
the
that.
second week and maybe there's something going on. But yeah, I don't know. Our Canadian out there, see what he can go do in his second round matchup tonight.
Only 3 games in the National Hockey League tonight. I'm going to roll to this Lakers-Mavs game tonight. And Luka right now is listed as questionable. But, I mean, so are LeBron and AD every single game. So we'll see what ends up happening tonight. But the Mavs right now are 3.5-point underdogs on the road against the Los Angeles Lakers. I've watched enough Lakers games this year. And I thought they were in trouble against OKC. They ended up getting it done against OKC. But to get the Mavs at plus 3.5 in a game that they could certainly just win outright and walk away with the way this Lakers season has been up and down. I think, and Matty, you can hop in here too because you're a Lakers guy, but I think the Mavs plus 3.5 points here is a really good play.
The Lakers had their big win this week.
Exactly.
They beat OKC.
That was an impressive win.
Yeah, they're due for that.
I don't feel like they're rolling off back-to-back dubs against OKC and Dallas. And if they do, now, once again, monitor the status here of Luka, obviously. But
and AD and LeBron.
If both teams are healthy, the 3.5 on the Mavs is a no-brainer here. So let's go Dallas Mavericks plus 3.5 for your cool bet hotline of the day. Hustle will be back on the Lock Shop today at 11 o'clock. And I'm pretty sure we'll be talking lots of golf today as it gets to that season. We'll get his thoughts on that Chiefs-Bills matchup as well. And the Kansas City Chiefs have the same Super Bowl odds right now as the Detroit Lions. So that's the type of life we're living right now. Buffalo Bills have better odds. Baltimore Ravens have better odds as well. But I'll take the Lions to be in the mix there with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I won't lie. Kansas City Chiefs at plus 330 for the AFC Conference champs.
At plus 330?
Plus 330 is a really good number. They know how to win.
But not on the road.
Got to go on the road for 2. Got to go on the road for 2.
If you want to take a chance on something, like plus 330 on the Chiefs to come out of the AFC, it's still Patty Mahomes. It's still Andy Reid.
You know what? It's not a bad idea to sprinkle the Chiefs when you can get any sort of value on them, which you can get right now. But they got to go on the road, probably for both. I mean, we'll see what ends up happening with the Ravens.
Well, not. What, you think that there's gonna be 2 upsets in the AFC this weekend?
Well, I wouldn't really classify the Chiefs over the Bills as an upset. That's a coin flip, in my opinion. And C.J. Stroud, as Eric says, is him.
He's him.
So I would think the Ravens probably win that one, but I'm not going to come in here stunned on Monday if the Texans pull it off again. But the Ravens should win.
Just a lean.
I'm nervous.
Just a lean.
We're always nervous about the team, though, right?
Well, but you want to? I was going into the first week in the playoffs. I just didn't want the Dolphins to beat the Chiefs because then it was either going to be Texans, Browns, or Steelers. The Ravens are it again. Then the weekend played out, and I was like, now I'm a little nervous about the Texans, just with how well they dismantled not just the Browns, but a really good Browns defense.
Yeah, Browns defense at home way better than Browns defense on the road, but still, that's a good defense.
That's the thing that concerns me. But Saturday, 2:30, that can't come soon enough for me.
All right, if you are watching right now on YouTube, please sub to the channel. We would appreciate that. Just click subscribe, notifications on or off. Make sure you turn autoplay on. It'll take you right into our second show of the day, which is the Hangout coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. We have a sports update on the way for Park Mazda. When we return, and it's time to dish out some free advice. What do you need help with? The Oilers have won 11 in a row. They don't need any advice right now, but maybe you do about managing your body during this winning streak. Maybe some of you have been boozing a little bit. Maybe some of you have been growing out hair in various places on your body that you don't want to shave because of the winning streak. Fantasy sports advice, life advice, work advice, relationship advice. What do you need help with? Text to 780-218-9999 or ask your question in the Nasty Chat. We'll get to that coming up. And Eric Macramalla around 7:45 today. You can keep those intros rolling as well. Let's get to a sports update with LTE.
11 straight wins for the Edmonton Oilers. They knock off the Leafs 4-2, handing Toronto its 4th straight loss. Ryan McLeod's 8th of the campaign would stand to be the winner. Stuart Skinner stopping 25 of 27 shots faced. Oilers welcome the Kraken to Rogers Place tomorrow night. Kraken losing on the road to the Rangers 5-2. They've dropped 2 straight. Jets double up the Islanders 4-2. Kings, they lose again, this time to the Stars 5-1. Flames getting past Arizona 3-2 in overtime. Calgary have won 4 straight. And Colorado over Ottawa 7-4. 3 games around the NHL tonight. AJHL action from yesterday. Crusaders with a 5-3 win down in Black Falls. Grand Prairie 3, Drumheller 1. Brooks Bandits with a 6-1 win up in Fort McMurray. 4 games around the league later this evening. Montreal over New York 3-2 in the lone PWHL game. 2 games tonight. Ottawa host Minnesota while Boston are in Toronto. Joel Embiid at 41 as the Sixers defeat the Nuggets 126-121 in NBA action. Philly have won 3 straight. Raptors, they're in active trade talks with the Pacers that would send forward Pascal Siakam to Indiana. This according to a report from Sham Charania of The Athletic. Raptors are back in action tonight. They'll host the Heat in one of 10 games around the NBA. Sports Update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and Mitch Lewicki. He's the dealer principal. He doesn't need advice on anything.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching the button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Step closer to the hollow, the devil may care. If I showed you around my heart, would you mind if I shared to show you what's wrong with me? I will not change it. I will wait patiently while you get painted out. Let me into your untainted tribe to be the one who gets to live a lie. Oh, let me lie with you. I'll be a perfect stranger. I wanna be that stupid boy that you don't talk about. You better believe there's a sharp knife beside my bed. You better believe there's a sharp knife inside my head. And if you would leave, I would take you by the hand. You and I would leave, but it wouldn't be that bad.
Whale and the Wolf, midway through the Nielsen Show. As we continue to roll along, they dropped their new video. Watched it yesterday. Lots of good close-ups in that video. I like that.
Well, it's artsy, baby.
Yeah, very much so.
They're talking to you.
I like videos that are shot in dark places, too. It's very mysterious. It's good.
I think I saw Bunting in there with the boys, too. Eh?
Oh, is he hanging out in there?
Slumming around in there.
Yeah, but Bunting, you slumlord, get out of our closet. Get out of our closet, Bunting. My goodness, this guy. Holy smokes. All right, it is time for free advice. Brought to you by Damon Bunting. Visit his website, damonbunting.com. He is one of the best in the biz. Let's just leave it at. Plus, he's a really nice guy. Hey, we're always like, man, I wish Bunting would come by and just hang out. We don't even have to get him on anything.
More Bunting.
Come hang out, man. But you know why he can't come hang out all the time? Because he's busy buying and selling homes for you. Visit his website, damonbunting.com, or on Instagram, his IG handle. Lots of charity stuff that he's got going on over there at Damon Bunting Real Estate on the IG. One of the most consistent, top-producing realtors in Edmonton and Western Canada. His team would love to help you find the right home. Edmonton Oilers. They've been absolutely rolling. We'll get to some songs here maybe a little bit later on. Macramalla is going to be by, but let's get to free advice. 780-218-9999. What do you need help with? 780-218-9999. Hey, did you already help somebody today? Rick, the tire guy, is going to help Big G, who had a flat tire today. Rick from Dan and Rick.
Awesome. This is great.
Advertising works.
You need help with your tires. Tire Boys. Search them out. Rick will come to you.
Wait a second. What's the name?
Tire Boys. One word. It's great.
Tire Boys.
Tire Boys. They got the truck. They got the vans. They come to you, and it's great service. It's local. It's the mom and pop feel, right? So good on Rick for coming to the rescue this morning. And that's how the universe works. It's crazy. I got my new wheels on and tires courtesy of Rick yesterday, and now he's helping, I think, Big G. Yeah,
with
here
the
it is.
Tire Boys.
Love it. I love it. That's just
great.
I'm tearing up here.
Hey, did Bunting ask you to stop calling him a slumlord? No. He appreciates the slumlord bit.
I apologized to him, and he said, no. Stuff your stories in a sack, mister, he said to me.
If there's one thing that Damon Bunting gets, it's it. You know, like he gets it. Gets the bits. And to be honest with you, he would be a great slumlord.
That's why he doesn't mind residing in that closet for 75% of his time.
All right, so what do you need help with? 780-218-9999. This one says, Dusty, would you trade Mitch Marner in a second-round pick for Tkachuk in fantasy?
Ooh.
I mean, I would need to know more on this league before really being able to answer this. Straight up points league. Actually, no, I don't. You're taking Tkachuk. I'm assuming it's Matthew Tkachuk. You're taking Matthew Tkachuk every time. Because if it's a league that has like hits and things like that, you're going to win it for sure. And if it's just a straight up points league, I know Marner's like a 90-point guy. I get it. But, yeah, no, definitely. And who cares about draft picks, man? Trade draft picks. So, yeah, I would definitely pull the trigger on that one. Sean is in and says, hey, boys, anyone else having trouble listening online? Making do with watching on YouTube, so it's not a big deal, but it's in from Sean. No, I don't think so, man. I checked out the online stream earlier. It was cruising along. It was
refresh.
this morning,
If you're using the shortcut, you need to delete that and like just refresh it.
Yeah, no, it should be working.
Low on it, restart.
Yeah, there's I guess a little bit of advice for you. Guys, listening to the grocery store talk, I must confess that I worked in a grocery store back in the 90s and I would sell weed out of the produce cooler. Yeah, that's a different segment. This is a free advice.
Ben, is that you?
This is free advice. This is not confessions. With that being said, my advice would be extremely careful about it. But I can see how you could make that work.
Oh, cash.
I could see how you can make that work.
I saw it all. I had no part in it.
That's an easy one.
Yeah.
That's an easy one. Boys, this is my first winter with my girlfriend, and she's been planning a ski trip up to Jasper in February. Problem is, I've told her I can ski, but I can't. I never have in my life. How should I approach the next few weeks? Oh boy. Got yourself in a little bit of a pickle here. Couple of things you could do. One, you could go take skiing lessons prior to February, put in some effort in this thing, and try to pass
it's
it
like
off.
taking the dance lessons prior to the wedding or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how. Then you're just
for one
swooshing
song. Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
At least the pizza cutter.
Or if you're with somebody who speaks another language, right? You surprise them by learning their language.
Yeah,
that'd be great. So you could take ski lessons here. What I would probably do in this situation is, once you get up to Jasper, I'd slip and fall and pretend I hurt myself. Because then you still get to spend the weekend in Jasper, but now most of it will be in the room.
In the hot tub. You got to nurse
hot
hot
my
tub.
back and my ankle from the fall. And then you've got like another year, hopefully, to unless she goes right away, she goes, well, we'll just reschedule for next weekend. Then you're screwed again. So you should probably just learn how to ski.
And if I may give another piece of advice for staying in Jasper, and this is one bestowed on me upon by Will Fraser. You might remember him. Park Place Inn. If you know, you know. Right downtown. It's not one of those hotels that are on the outskirts that you got to walk to everything. Right downtown. Park Place Inn.
Tango's in and says fake injury is the only option here. That's what I would agree with. You don't want to learn how to ski all of a sudden on short notice. Plus, if you go up, then you're look. You got to fake the injury.
Watch YouTube videos.
To learn how to ski?
Every day, watch a YouTube video. Go through a little process and give it a go and see what happens.
That's it. But don't step on skis till you get up there.
Well, you could try getting Snow Valley here in Edmonton. You could try one afternoon, but there's not a lot of time to get out there. So just load up on YouTube videos and learn how to pizza.
Strummy, that guy got himself in an uphill battle as well as a downhill battle.
It looks like he is facing an uphill battle. The Nacho Man is in and says, you've gone too far. Break up with her. It's only a few months. It's only a few months.
Yeah, probation,
right?
Or
just straight up be like, listen, I'm lying to you. I can't ski. She might stay with you, and then you know she digs you. Or just say you're a loser. Don't ever talk to me again. Those are good ones, though. Dusty, is CJ Stroud a keeper in a 1QB league in which we only protect 3 players? I would say no. If you're in a 1QB league and you're only allowed to protect 3 players, I'm not sure any quarterback should be a keeper in that league. That would mean you'd have to take a quarterback that we drafted in the 3rd round. And there's so many quarterbacks, I just wouldn't do it. And I love CJ Stroud. I'm going to have him as a keeper in a couple of leagues. Fly's back. It's probably a different fly. But anyway, it distracted me there. But
bring
no.
Settlers of Catan. Sincerely, Ryan Rashad.
Guys, tell her you might need a refresher course before you go. It's been many years. And then go take a lesson at Rabbit Hill. That's nice. I mean, that's kind of... It has been many years because you never skied before. So maybe that works. Guys, in one text from that ski guy, I can tell that girl deserves better than him. Oh, boy. Okay, and then there's this one. I don't know if we should get to this one. I mean, that conversation we're already having, but... Guys, I need help. I'm starting to think that I may be a side piece. I've been dating a girl for 3 months, but I'm seeing hints that she might actually be with someone else. How do I investigate this?
What are the hints?
I don't know.
Like, I mean, it's got to be pretty. If you're coming to that conclusion now with the hints, I would probably say.
How do you not know you're the main guy?
Right. Like, I'd love to hear these hints.
Can you send us the hints?
Because that really illustrates and paints the picture. I mean,
780-218-99. Like, when you go over to her house, are there pictures of another dude?
Yeah.
Because then, you're probably something a little extra on the
clothing
side.
unfamiliar to you.
Yeah.
Laying around casually. Like,
does she call you by his name sometimes?
That's on my shoe size.
That's
yeah. Well,
I mean, I don't know what to do.
Strongest
in that
advice might not get
situation.
you out of this one. Hey, pull the chute, pull the pin.
Yeah, I'd probably just move on either way. I mean, but what if there is nobody else?
But
and you're just like you're panicking for no reason.
The hints that even leads to that train of thought. It'd have to be something.
Well, pretty obvious. I would think whatever the hints
so I
are.
mean, you got to get out of there. There's no.
Yeah.
It can't be a mistake.
At the end of days,
oh, you read it all wrong.
Some other guy picks her up. Yeah, man. Take the clues. Take the hints. Tango saying, hire a private investigator. Look,
yeah.
If you need to hire a private investigator, you probably should just get out of the relationship.
Although, hire the PI and let us know how it goes. I'm all for the private investigator stuff. I like tailing him around in a van.
Guys, what is this? Advice or scenarios? Tell the man what to do. Well, we told the other guy, fake an injury. Maybe this guy fakes an injury too. I don't know. I don't know what you're supposed to do in this situation.
Just like to know a few of those hints first. It's like when Costanza's girlfriend has that roommate, hey? And he's just hanging around. Like,
hey, George!
Like, what is this? Like, you should be worried, right?
That was a good one. I like that. Guys, I wonder if that ski dude's girlfriend knows he can't ski and picked up Mr. Side Piece because he knows how to ski. These are the same two guys texting into the show. Oh, that would be so good. And they're both excited because the Oilers have won 11 in a row. It doesn't matter. Everybody shares everybody. It's great. All right, that's free advice.
Speaking of orgies, heading into the next
free advice for Damon Bunting right there. Visit his website, www.damonbunting. Whether you're buying or selling your home or you want to get in on that slumlord training program he's launched, visit his website, damonbunting.com. All right, let's get to some Macramalla intros, then we'll bring in the old Mr. Embassy himself here. Here's some good ones that have rolled in so far today. EST legal analyst and guy who finally quit answering his banana like it was a phone after finding out that insanity defense doesn't work when the lawyer is the one acting crazy. EST legal analyst and guy who's surprisingly comfortable editing his own porn shoots, Eric Macramalla. EST legal analyst and the human equivalent of a participation trophy, Eric Macramalla. That's a good one as well. And EST legal analyst and guy whose epic 3-week-long sword/fist/tickle fight with Mitch from Park Mazda set into motion the events that would eventually save the world as prophesized. Eric Macramalla. He joins us this morning. Macramalla, how are you doing, sir?
My man, so we need to know what are the circumstances that suggest that his girlfriend or wife.
I know. Well, it's a girlfriend. He says he's only been seeing her for a few months.
Right. So I mean, he sounds like a desperate loser. But that aside, if he comes home by way of example, and there's another man making love to her, then that would be a clue. Hey, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
That's not me in the bed. Are you cheating on me? And I'd say that he would ask the question because, to recap, he's a loser. Why is he a loser? Well, he's desperate. Which makes him a loser is if you've been dating someone for a few months and you have questions as to whether this person was having intercourse with somebody else, maybe it's time for you to leave. But before you do that, look in the mirror and say, oh, this is a you problem. Why? Because, to recap, he's a loser, right? you don't just because you look, my father told me, look, there's someone for everybody. He was right. You may not like who you end up with, but the person you end up with is the person who ultimately, fits the bill. Like a loser will be with a loser. A winner will be with a winner, right? But a loser can't be with a winner. And if you keep saying to yourself, she's way too hot for me, the odds are it's true. She is, and that's why she's having sex with somebody else.
There's someone for everyone, but you just may not like them. It's a really classic line. Eric Macramalla
he's the kind of guy that says, "Hey, I want to go on Maury," but Maury says, "But you haven't had sex with anybody because you're a loser, so there's no paternity test to do." If that's the response you get from Maury, you know that you're the problem. This is it. I always find it bizarre. It's like, man, we're getting back together again for the 12th time. Really? There are other women out there, right?
Oh, this time it's going to work.
Other women out there.
This time it's going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a him problem, right?
Anyway,
I see that was Eric / young Michael Bolton sending that in.
Yeah.
Hey,
masquerading as a listener.
I like your outfit today. This is the sweater over the dress shirt. Am I seeing a tie behind the microphone or no tie?
No, there is no tie.
Okay.
I had a tie yesterday.
I know you did.
Wore a tie to work. Yeah, you probably saw that on Twitter, whatever the hell it's called now. I hadn't worn a tie in a while. So, but no, this is the preppy. I'm playing squash later, but I'm not. Sweater with a nice shirt underneath, nice pair of slacks. Remember the term slacks, but with no cleats because it's not the 80s.
No, you got a good pair of slacks goes a long way. Really does.
Oh, I mean, I think you need to have 3 pairs of slacks in your wardrobe. Unless you're a needy loser like that guy that wrote in, then you just got to keep going speed dating until you find someone with low self-esteem who will date you.
Okay, so you were at the U.S. Embassy last night. Before we get to why exactly you were there, what's it like being inside an embassy?
What's funny is it was surprisingly easy to get in. Like someone like me, who looks like me. Like usually I'll get patted down, they'll try and kiss me, yada, yada, yada. And then I finally get in. And this is how bold I am. And I want to just tell you this because I'm a winner and I want the loser to know what a winner does. So I come in and I'm a bit late because I'm doing winner things.
Late to the embassy. I love it.
Yeah, late to the embassy because the embassy waits for me. And I can't find parking. And everybody's lined up to find parking in the recesses of this parking lot. I back up. I drive out backwards in my really expensive winter car, right? And I end up parking near the front gate. And I created a spot for myself through the snow. And one security guard says, "Hey, I don't know if you could park there." I said, "I can. It's too crowded in the back. I have to go in." And I walked right by him. I came back and my car was still there because the embassy won't allow a tow truck in for 2 reasons. The driver looks like me, but also he doesn't have ID. He's not a guest, so he can't get by the gate.
So
no
they're
one's
going to
tow
do
my
nothing
car.
to your car. That's a brilliant idea.
No, it's a winner idea. We have winners and we have losers. Jeb Bush was a loser. That guy that wrote in is a loser. Are we on the air? Because I feel bad.
Did you get kind of like sneak around on your own in the embassy? Like,
did you pretend you're in the movie Argo?
Any funny doors or anything like that? Or crawl spaces?
The hard part is when you look like me and you're in the U.S. Embassy, I think security is going to be pretty tight. Agreed?
I would think maybe.
Everyone kept following me around. It was weird.
So you felt safe. You felt really safe. Everybody had your back.
The only place I feel safer is the airport.
Eric Macramalla with us on the show. Why were you there? Why were you allowed to just walk right into the embassy last night? What was going
on? So it was the American ambassador, Ambassador Cohen, not Dave as I called him because I'm a winner, right? They were having an event to celebrate the launch of the PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League. And I was invited because I'm doing all the Canadian legal branding work for the PWHL. It's not because I'm on TSN 1200 that, I have 6 listeners on my show. There's no one else in the station there. So I was like, oh, I think I'm here and I found out, yes, it's because I'm their lawyer. That's the reason I'm there. It was a nice event. All the Ottawa hockey players were there. They gave some nice speeches and it's exciting. It's an exciting startup. That's what it is, right? This is a startup business owned by the guy that owns the Dodgers.
Can you leak us some of the team names or anything like that? I mean, we need logos and names.
I can't tell you any of that. Damn. Michael Bolton. Or young Michael Bolton.
That's locked away in the embassy.
Can't be friends.
Yeah. Somebody asked if you were seeking asylum. Was that part of the evening as well? Or?
I wouldn't mind getting paid in U.S. dollars, though. I make so much. It's okay. Why? Because to recap, I'm a winner, and that guy is a loser.
Yeah, being involved on the legal side of the PWHL, I do have to, so I don't know how much you can say, but I do have to, I mean, I would point out, and you can comment on it if you want, it seems like such a really good buzz here at the beginning for this league, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can comment on that because it's not at all legal, and it's phenomenal, right? I mean, when you look at the PWHL, right, there were predecessors before that, the PHF, I think the NWHL, and they struggled.
They tried some things, yep.
And they went to Bettman and they said, hey, can you help us out? And he told them that the timing wasn't right. And he was right. Now the timing is perfect. Not only that, you've got the guy who owns the Dodgers is heading up this league. So they own all the teams, very much like MLS. There's a good reason for that. It allows for uniform branding, which we're seeing. All the jerseys look the same. But on top of that, from a legal standpoint, what it does is because it's just one owner, not 32 different owners like in the NHL, the players really can't unionize, and there are no antitrust or competition violation. That's sort of a legal thing, but it's just the bottom line is it makes it easier to manage your labor force when you do that. But that aside, the buzz has been phenomenal. I mean, the games have sold out in Ottawa. There's a lot of people are talking about it, and franchise valuations for female teams are beginning to rise. So you can monetize this. And the fact that you're not seeing team nicknames, the Montreal whatever, the Ottawa whatever, is really should be seen as a positive thing because there's not a rush here to roll that out. They want to do so properly. And that suggests what? They're in it for the long term. And they are. This is going to be around. This league will be around for a very, very long time, I suspect. I suspect for as long as we're alive, Dustin. So 3 weeks.
Eric Macramalla with us.
No, I'm kidding. You and I are winners. You and I will never die because we're winners.
Hey, I want to quickly go to the NFL. America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Do they merge with America's coach, Bill Belichick? Do you think that would make sense?
I mean, I don't know if Mike McCarthy, I guess he is to blame because he allowed Dan Quinn to make all the calls as the defensive coordinator. I mean, how many dime packages did they run against the actual run? It was just bizarre. They allowed themselves to get out coached on defense, and it was bizarre. I don't blame Dak Prescott. They scored a lot of points, but they were not able to stop the Packers on defense. They couldn't. They've had a tough time stopping the run this season to begin with, but I don't think that's a personnel issue. I think that's an X's and O issue. So, do you bring in Belichick? No, he's gonna go to Atlanta. Maybe you bring in Vrabel, but I think McCarthy's days as the head coach of the Cowboys are numbered. I think he will be done by no later than the end of this week. You know why?
Yeah,
because he's a loser.
Which embassy do you go to next?
You mean the one I'm invited to, or one I just use their parking lot for? I'm Eric. I can do what I want. Why? Because I'm a winner.
No, just leave it here. Go ahead. Tow it. I dare you. Tow it. Let's see if you can tow it.
I dare you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Good stuff, buddy.
Scratch it, buddy.
We'll catch up next week, man. We love you.
Tough guy. All right, guys. I love you guys more than every towing company in the town that can't touch my really expensive winning car.
There you go. Eric Macramalla, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, where he and Mitch send text messages, but it's only and always has ever only been in GIFs. There's no words. It's just GIF after GIF after GIF after GIF.
Wouldn't mind like the Macramalla Embassy tour as well. He's in the place for that. I mean, you check them all.
Excuse me, Eric Macramalla. Are you wearing a lapel cam? Shh, don't tell anybody. I want to get inside scoop on this embassy here. All right, the Edmonton Oilers have won 11 in a row. Why don't you win something right now? Kind of easy trivia, gift certificate, Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. If you want to play, fire us a text, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Fire that text over to Matty Iwanek, Mr. Lean, in for YouTube. Trev today, and let Matty know that you would like to play Kind of Easy Trivia today to try to get your hands on that Mr. Mike's gift certificate. We'll do that just after 8 o'clock. Justin Dunk is going to join us from 3 Down Nation to discuss the transactions by your Edmonton Oaks here over the last little while. 3 questions too many coming up. Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power still on the way as well. Let's get to a sports update. Hour number 3 is just around the corner. Sports update here for Claiborne Services.
11 straight victories for the Edmonton Oilers as they double up the Leafs 4-2 from Rogers Place, handing Toronto its 4th straight loss. The Oilers will welcome in the Kraken to town tomorrow night. Seattle losing on the road to the Rangers 5-2. They've dropped 2 straight. Jets over the Islanders 4-2. Kings falling to the Stars 5-1. Colorado over Ottawa 7-4. And the Flames getting past the Coyotes 3-2 in overtime. 3 games around the NHL later tonight. 4 games around the AJHL later tonight, including the Crusaders visiting Calgary, while Bonnyville welcoming Brooks. Last night, the Crusaders with a 5-3 win down in Blackfalds. Montreal over New York 3-2 in PWHL action. 2 games tonight. Ottawa hosts Minnesota while Boston visit Toronto. Joel Embiid had 41 points, leading the Sixers over the Nuggets 126-121. Off the court, the Raptors are in active trade talks with the Pacers that would send forward Pascal Siakam to Indiana. This according to Sham Sharani of The Athletic. Raps are back in action tonight. They'll host the Heat in one of 10 games around the NBA. Sports update brought to you by Claiborne Services. They are hiring now, looking for journeyman bricklayers and all levels of apprentices. Start a new career, take your current one to the next level with their well-established mentorship program. You can visit www.claiborneservices.com for more.
I see the oil coming straight towards our end. I go to make my pivot, but I get burned again. I'm stuck out of position, and McDavid's gone. Now I hear those fans are screaming, 'cause that red light's on. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, you'll never play for a living, you'll only play for fun. But I cracked the squad in TO, 2 years at 1.9. Now I'm hung out on the PK against McDavid's line. My coaches are a-screaming, keep 'em to the outside, but they ain't tried containing a cheetah who's just done a couple lines. I'm caught out of position, and McDavid's gone. I just hope I still have my job when we get back home. I should not be saying, but let's just make this clear. McDavid and Austin Matthews ain't in the same hemisphere. I'm stuck out of position, and McDavid's gone. Now Rogers Place, it is exploded, 'cause that red light's on.
Fits in pretty well on the show after what happened last night at Rogers Place. That red lights on. And McDavid was absolutely buzzing last night. Zach Hyman scored a beauty that got taken off the board, but the Oilers still found a way to get it done against, dare I say, a struggling Toronto Maple Leafs squad.
A struggling Stanley Cup contender.
No. The Toronto Maple, you can't possibly.
Oh.
You can't possibly view the Toronto Maple Leafs as a Stanley Cup contender. There's no chance. If the Toronto Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup, and I'll shut EST down. Like, that's how confident. I will put all of our livelihoods on the line. The Toronto Maple Leafs are not winning the Stanley Cup.
Got
Do you
options,
see that blue line? Do you see their goaltending? Come on. You see John Tavares playing at a playoff pace? Mitch Marner last night was like, yeah, we played really good. Playing some great hockey. Shut up.
Yeah, the post.
Like, are you serious?
His rather interesting.
I'm sure Marner, who already, by all accounts, has become a whipping boy in Toronto. I'm sure him saying that they've been playing a lot of great hockey lately. He's going over really well in Toronto today. The Toronto Maple Leafs as a Stanley Cup contender.
It's finally up at tsn.ca here. Leafs downplay trend of blown leads amid 4-game winless streak.
I'm sorry, you're not a great hockey team.
Back to the Blue Jays
For
prospects.
flashes, you can be a good hockey team, but you're not a great hockey team. The Toronto Maple Leafs winning a round in the playoffs this year would be monumental, in my opinion.
It's one thing to get a lead.
You got to hold the lead, which they have not been able to do. All right, let's play a little kind of easy trivia. Let's give away a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Mr. Lean, what do we got? Who's playing?
No one.
Nobody texted in?
No one's texted in.
You should have told us that earlier. We could have plugged it.
Well, you guys were doing things.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to play right now.
You started talking,
yeah,
so.
Yeah, sorry. If you want to play right now, let's go. 780-218.
No one wants to win.
9999. 780-218-9999. If you would like to play kind of easy trivia right now, gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse up for grabs right now. 780-218-9999.
I almost like it better post break because now it's just this mad dash.
Yeah,
Like,
now the text will start rolling in.
Right
Pay attention earlier. 780-218-9999 if you would like to play this morning. John is in and says, Leaf Nation was in full meltdown mode after the game yesterday. Yeah, I mean, as they should be. Right? Like, we're in a Canadian market. We care, I'll say it, just as much about hockey, possibly even more, than they do it in Toronto. We get it.
Yeah.
Look at our market for the first month and a half of the season. Straight up tire fire, but deservedly so.
But if this is a loss to the Kraken, this is the bragging rights. This is your cross Canada, McDavid, the whole bit. I mean, and that's for Oilers fans on the other opposite side. I mean, this could be the juiciest of the 11. Hey, arguably,
yeah.
Whenever you get one over,
stinks. Like, you want to show up.
Exactly.
And one of the things yesterday,
like not a
talking on the
rivalry
lock
game,
shop
but
with Patty and Jake from Toronto, they said, the Leafs play down to their opposition, but also have the ability in the regular season at least to play up against some of these good teams. And they had a great start yesterday. But after that, for the most part, I mean, some good crashing of the net, caused some issues around Skinner, but third period, that just wasn't there. That wasn't there. All right, Maddie, who do we have?
Chris is on the line.
All right, Chris is going to play kind of easy trivia today. Needs to get 3 out of 5 correct to win that gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. We're no big deal, but they've got 6 o'clocker lager on tap, and one of us has actually ordered a 6 o'clocker lager on tap at Mr. Mike's. Maddie, how was it, buddy?
The beer's great, as you would expect.
Yeah.
But to be at Mr. Mike's and waitress come up and go, what would you like? Yeah. And to say, I'll have a pint of 6 o'clocker lager. It just felt great.
That is just mind-blowing.
And she
stuff.
knew exactly what I was talking about.
Of
like,
course, yeah.
she's like, of course. And then walks away and brings back the 6 o'clocker lager. It was wonderful.
I love that. If you want 6 o'clocker lager on tap at your place or like your go-to regular bar, let us know. We'll get Alley Cat in touch with them, and we'll make that work. All right, Chris, you ready to go?
Sure am.
All right, I'll start the ticker after read the first question. You need to get 3 out of 5 correct. Here we go. Which player scored the game-winning goal for the Edmonton Oilers last night?
Ryan McLeod.
Which player scored an empty net goal for the Oilers last night?
Evan Bouchard.
Which Maple Leaf leads the NHL in goals right now?
Austin Matthews.
What position does Martin Jones play?
Goalie.
How many straight games have the Oilers won?
11, baby.
Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am. Get it right. You can't have a newcomer come in and
steal the show.
That's a peddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Ooh, you better believe that's a peddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a peddling.
The first year we took it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Club Beat Loop provided today by Chris. Gets the job done, delivers the dub. Much appreciated. That final question, how many straight games have the Oilers won? He said 11.
Baby.
He got it right. I would have also accepted all of them.
The baby adds to it, though.
11, baby. That works out pretty well. The Edmonton Oilers are rolling. Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power coming up. Justin Dunk around 8:30 this morning. We got the wrap for William Huff as well, and more of your reaction. A couple of the bigger key questions that we were asking a little bit earlier on today. Stuart Skinner, with the way he's played, are you confident with him being enough between the pipes to win a Stanley Cup for the Edmonton Oilers? And are you expecting Ryan McLeod? Like, has Ryan McLeod officially emerged? Like, is this a Ryan McLeod that you could see play on a consistent basis? And if that is the case, then what does that mean for the Edmonton Oilers, especially heading up to the trade deadline?
Is he him?
Wow,
That's
only
the
so many
question.
guys can be him, though, right? It's got to be tough
Individually,
with all,
though, right?
With all the hymns out there, I think. I thought Skinner, the Leafs were all over him. I mean, he got a little bit of a rough ride last night, but he played through it, and he's very calm and composed. Like, he has the traits of a guy who should not be rattled in big moments come playoff time.
As you said, healthy team. Yesterday we were going over the injuries, but that one crash in that, I think Jack in saying the skate was kind of caught in the thing, but you did have a bit of a tightening here. You kind of, Leafs don't win the game, but they, come in and take someone out.
That would have sucked.
That
would have sucked. But he does.
Did happen. He's fine.
He was
All
okay.
good.
And hey, you could go to Pickard on Thursday. I mean, we'll get into it on Oil Stream probably a little bit later on today. And two guys and a goalie tomorrow with Cass and Gager. But you could go to Pickard on Thursday against the Kraken. Stewie skin, nice and fresh. Come Saturday for the Calgary Flames. Could be something.
Who are heating up.
That definitely works. All right, let's get into 3 questions too many. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segment today?
I do. 3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, where if you show up today wearing anything in blue and white, you are not allowed in the dealership. Park Mazda, your dealer for life.
Yeah, nothing. Not even just like regular blue shirts.
Oh, no, he'll call you out. He's right at the door. He'll be,
That's not going to get the job done. Now, look, Ryan McLeod's been playing good lately, but stupid good looking in the nasty chat's probably taking it too far. Ryan McLeod has the ability to possibly be a Kyle Connor type of player. I'm going to pump the brakes on that conversation. Kyle Connor is one of the best goal scorers in the National Hockey League. So this is nothing against Ryan McLeod because he's been phenomenal as of late, but I don't see him having the potential of Kyle Connor. I think that's probably a different level. That's not achievable for said player.
But I get it. You're on a high this morning. I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's my favorite. That's my favorite,
like
major claim of the day. That's big.
If we're having SD categories and big claims, pole position.
That one's right up there. That one is right up there. 780-218-9999. Hit us up in the Paris Jewelers inbox. Valentine's Day is just around the corner, which means it's time to get something shiny for the one you love. And get it done with our great partners over at PJ's. Visit them at parisjewelers.com. 22 locations all across the country. Family owned. This guy's been doing business with them. I've got some stuff from them as well. Products, top notch.
Michelle, she'll treat you right.
A chef's kiss. A chef's kiss for the jewelry. A jeweler's kiss, I guess you could say it is. I could win text of the day for A and W as well. And, of course, we are coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. Eric, do you have a Twitter account?
Yes, I do. It's at Lieutenant_Eric. And you can also follow our station account at YEG.
What's that at lately? Well, I haven't hopped on that account in a little bit.
$4,739.
Okay, that's
Which is
nice.
Great.
That's nice.
You got the big video pin there, still from the Nasty Bash.
The announcement. The announcement.
Will have to be. You can never plan too early for one of those things, hey? Especially on the heels of the original one back in the summer.
One was a treat.
That was a fun time. So at YEG Sports Talk at Lieutenant_Eric and Instagram. I mean, hit this. What are we looking at here? The YouTube. What's the algorithm at? 168 for the likes.
Let's go. Let's hammer that. We're 32 away from hitting that
before the
magical mark of 200 before the end of the show.
What did they say? Hit the sub?
Yeah, sub.
Hit the sub.
It's a common thing with
subscribe.
streamers.
Yeah. Don't gotta pay. Don't get anything in the mailbox. Subscribe, like, get all over the place. Edmonton Sports Talk.
This text into the Paris Jewelers inbox. Guys, I think one of my favorite things about Stuart Skinner is that he still hasn't forgotten the broken goalie stick in the LA Kings series. Every time he goes to play the puck, you see him tap his stick to check if it's broken or not. He learns from his mistakes. That went in from Danny T this morning.
Goalie behavior, hey?
Well, you gotta learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 1. Do you guys think Knobloch is some sort of real-life wizard? How else would you explain him putting McLeod out there with McDavid and Draisaitl on that game-winning shift?
Well, I credit Paul Coffey.
Obviously. I mean, you got to always credit Paul Coffey. But Knobloch, if he put on a wizard's hat, like if he went as a wizard for Halloween, I could see him pulling it off.
Got a great head of hair. Maybe he brings back like the old coaching hats, like the bowler or something like that, right? Like the old taking it back to the.
Yeah, do you think there's a rule against NHL coaches?
Like, do it.
Wearing the odd hat?
A real good hat.
Because why not roll one out? Like, roll out like
matches the suit.
A newspaper man's hat.
That type of thing, right?
Now, he does have great hair.
Yeah.
But you know what else? You know what's only better than his hair? His decision-making and feel for the game. Because that was a master stroke or a master class or whatever you want to call it.
And you and Noodles were talking too, and as much as Woodcroft, built up his reputation here in the market with, again, appearances on, TV shows back in his youth and his fiery demeanor, right? You had the meme of the Flames thing on the bench.
Yeah.
He was always a guy that kind of fed into the fan hype. And that's kind of the opposite with Knobloch. Very calm, very cool, collected. I mean, anytime too. And I think it leads to a bit of fan frustration when they go upstairs or there should be or shouldn't be a video review. And he's just kind of standing there, taking it all in. But he's got his finger on the pulse. It just doesn't look that way to the naked eye.
Yeah, so chill,
It's a very
chill.
It's a very different, but I'm here for it. As long as he keeps pressing the right buttons, of course.
Joel in the Nasty Chat says he's clairvoyant. Clairvoyant Chris Knobloch. Clairvoyant Chris.
That. Clairvoyant with a K, of course.
You'd have to spell it that way, yeah. Original George says he should wear a sombrero. Can you imagine? But still so steady and so calm and just running with the most hilarious bit in hockey history.
Serious sombrero wearer ever.
Yeah, or cowboy hat even. I mean, Nutsy Dielson says Knobloch makes these understated moves that just seem to work. Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, McLeod, Draisaitl, and McDavid are together, and boom, it's in the back of the net. Like, well done, sir.
Old Knobloch the Grey from VR Montenegro.
Old Knobloch the Grey with another decision that'll be told by our elders for years. Question number 2. If you boys were running the Leafs, what would you try to do and get them to the next level? So you're Mr. Tree Living.
Well, coaching, Keefe's not Tree Living's guy, correct? If I'm following the timeline.
Well, he wasn't originally, so he's a Dubas guy.
Right. So I mean, you would look there, and if you're going like opposite Oilers, which is kind of what the Leafs are right now, maybe you follow that play in that playbook. I don't know who what the names are, but yeah, I mean, you look at the coach. I don't know, what are you shaking up the core?
I would change the coach, and I would trade Mitch Marner this offseason. And I like Mitch Marner. I'm not one of these anti-Mitch Marner whipping boy guys in Toronto. I think Mitch Marner's a really good player, especially offensively.
Offseason. You're doing the coach now and
you're not going to be able to move Tavares' contract this offseason. Mitch Marner's going to be a UFA at the end of next season, still in his prime. You've already paid Matthews. You've already paid Nylander. Now, you could get the Tavares contract off the book next year and reallocate that money, but you could trade Marner this offseason for a pretty good piece. You might be able to get a goalie. Probably can get another defenseman. Maybe you can find a second line player that you can fit in there. You reallocate that money to other significant areas of need, and there are significant areas of need on that Maple Leafs roster. And then you build your offense around Austin Matthews and Nylander. Maybe you can keep Tavares around on like a deal worth half the money or $6 or $7 million or whatever it would be moving forward on that front. And then spend the $13 million that Marner's going to want somewhere else and just change the DNA of your team a little bit.
Spread it around, slather it around, maybe, if you will. Eh?
Like an A&W
yeah.
spicy Mama Dill burger with the slathering of the spicy dill pickle sauce. Only at A&W.
Norman at Combine getting one for breakfast yesterday.
Did he?
Round the clock, yeah.
Good. Yeah, 24/7. 24/7 at A&W. Question number 3. Boys, who scores first, Brown or Ceci?
Yeah, Brown had a real good look last night.
He had a couple really good looks last night.
Ceci? I replied to Texter. We need the Twitter account. Did Brown score tonight? No. Like it's
that's already got to be out there.
It's got to be. It's you're grazing on the comical era of it. No offense to him. I know he's not out there just dogging it or whatever. He's trying, but I mean the way things are going, why not Cody Ceci? Why not the defenseman over the forward that you've highly invested in?
I think it's got to be Brown. You're right. Like Brown had
like I'm just
he had a couple looks. I think he had 3 shots last night. A couple of them were pretty good looks. The one when he got it kind of came to him right in front. And he sort of tried to be too pretty with it. He sort of flipped it on
that. Is that the one where he's visibly disappointed
just
as well?
Clapped that
and he
bastard.
was visibly disappointed though.
Yeah. Well, that was a
great
great look. Like just hammer that thing home. So that was tough. But I would put Brown ahead of Ceci in this race.
I'm going Ceci
to find the back of the net.
And anytime either of them has the puck on their stick, fans should be yelling shoot.
Yeah. Nylander, this is a good Katie's in. It says, Nylander got paid and was like, okay, bye. Did I execute that right, Katie? Let me know. I think I got it. Right, he got the big deal. He's got no points in the last 4 games. Is that right when he got the deal? Like, does he not have a point since the contract?
Well, you got that many honey buns, right? You got,
okay, bye.
Sitting on a throne of honey buns. The bag.
Now, it's not a good look, but can you blame him? Like, you just did it. Like, you accomplished what you were out to do, and that is to get the bag, bro. Make bank, bro. It's done.
Player empowerment, right?
Probably
Bet on yourself.
Foot off the gas a little bit now. What are they going to do? Take the $11 million away from you?
Subconsciously, something's in there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a weird one for me. All right. We got Justin Dunn coming up. 3 questions too many, brought to you always by the great staff at Park Mazda. But Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power. Power. Have you got them ready to go?
Yes.
What are we doing? Yes. What are we doing?
Well, look, we went over it a little bit already, and I guess for people who weren't up early this morning, we can rehash the top 10 SD Award categories, and this is something we could always work on, I think, and there might be a few that have made the list already, and we'll give them their due.
Big step for the SDs this morning.
Yeah.
These are the Edmonton Sports Talk Awards that we'll do once a year. The SDs were talking about possible locations to host these things. Obviously, Mr. Mike's randomly at an A&W.
I say we just take one evening. The staff wouldn't have no idea. And you're plugging stuff in. We're going to the back, hooking up. Where are the whistle dogs at? Where are they just taking over?
That would be good. But then also, I want to do an event at the Garneau Theater. I always wanted to do back at 1260. It's just got a cool vibe to it. We had our A&W Whistle Dog documentary at the Garneau. That was a lot of fun. But we obviously aren't going to fill the Garneau. But it would be funny. I think it would be even funnier if we got this huge theater and we only have 40 people at the Estes, which would be a lot of fun. So you've got the top 10 categories.
And again,
for the Estes.
It may be more than 10. Feel free to add along 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat as well. No wrong answers here. Obviously, this is the early days of this thing, so we can really take it anywhere we want. Number 10, Text of the Year. And again, a shoe-in, a real good one. And an award that you've been handing out years past. I mean,
we've done this stuff for a decade.
So that's kind of the Number 1, but in reverse there, kind of the easy answer. Number 9, the nasty of the year. I think that's something that a lot of people would be shooting for. I mean, to have that on you.
That's very coveted.
Absolutely.
That'd be very coveted.
Aside
Like
from
imagine
getting that invite to the Nasty Bash, like getting that golden ticket. I mean, you are one of select. And to be the first.
Well, if you won an Esty, you're invited to all the
lifetime.
events.
Yeah. We put a microchip in your under your skin.
But, I mean, we're talking. You're texting. You're at the Super Bowl party, which is going to be at Century Casino, Fort Road. We're going to have the whole crew there.
Menu items under $10.
I'm this close to getting the rooms all arranged, so we're going to spending the night there and then doing all the shows there the next day. That should be a lot of fun. Kyle the Embalmer says, if you plan the Esties well, it'll be packed. Kyle the Embalmer, God love you. But I honestly don't think we could pack the Garneau for our Edmonton Sports Talk
seat fillers.
annual award show.
It's all seat fillers. It's all random people off the street. They don't know what's going on, right?
Yeah, that would actually be not bad. Yeah, that'd be not bad. That'd be not bad. All right, number 8.
Data mining and getting the word out there, right? Free advertising. Number 8, Song of the Year. And,
yes. We are so early into the year. Like,
well, that's Jaunty and Victoria, obviously, with the 6 o'clock anthem, plus the Christmas remix, which I think should stand alone in its own.
I do like Maddie's idea of making it a September to September thing, because we launched in September.
Well, and let's be honest,
so
boys,
we roll
once
to
it gets
September.
to fall and Christmas, that's a busy season. There's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if renting
nice
out a
early
place.
fall award show season in September. That's
the rentals.
The season hasn't started yet. All eyes are on the Esties.
We'll kick off award season. 527 seats at the Garneau Theater.
That's it.
We could do 527.
We almost got 500 right now on the Nasty Chat. You kidding me?
There'd be some family and friends we'd be inviting to this, and other people would want to bring some family. We could do 527.
A few seats.
Man, us getting 500 people at the Garneau for the Esties is an all-time Edmonton event.
Let's say we did 527. It was $10 donation to charity. Get it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Having Esties on the marquee outside, hey?
6 o'clock lager for sale right there.
527? There's 486 people watching right now on just YouTube.
Yeah, but they're not all going to be able to come to. Nah, with that being said, I mean,
we've had but there's people been coming and going all show.
Yeah.
And that doesn't count all the people that are listening on our audio stream right now, which there's a lot.
Yeah, we've hit like almost 150,000 unique people who've checked out Edmonton Sports Talk.
I think
we need
500 of those to come to the Esties.
They're up for the challenge. Look, build it and they will come, right? That's the famous. I think in the Nasty Bash, we were this close to doing the.
We had like
the fire marshal.
We had almost 200 at the Nasty Bash.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine?
So we're doubling that and doing another 100.
I want that so bad. I want that
there's
so
families
bad.
that are going to be there and and friends that we'll have, and then again, it is I'll say this. 527 is very doable.
Absolutely, it is.
That's very doable.
I get the kind of lessening. I get it, but yeah.
All right, where are we at? What was that number?
Let's be the Willie Nylanders of the market, right? Yeah.
Well, that's number 8. Number 7.
Clip of the year.
Oh, clip of the year, yeah.
Again, these are
look at
pretty
this,
elementary.
Look at that.
Yeah.
There's some good ones.
And there will be more that come on.
All right, number 6.
Show of the year, which again, you being on like 98% of the programs on the station. I don't know what the cool bet odds were, but you are shooing.
If the Hangout wins, I'll be pissed.
Oh, as you should.
I'll be pissed.
As you should.
Like they get cut to me, and I'm straight facing it. It's just like, what more do I need to do? You know,
ironic accepting the award over you too would just be the
show of the year. Hello, hockey. What? Are you kidding me? That would be good.
Like, even booking it for 2 hours isn't that bad of a price.
Well, no, but we know one of the guys at the Garneau because we used to work with him at CTV.
Yeah, right. So he could even give it. But I'm looking at these.
Is he still at CTV or did he get blown out when we got blown out? He must be still there.
Who knows? But like, even that isn't bad.
Yeah. No, like when I talk to them about renting it for a movie, because this is something else I'd like to do, is like once every 3 or 4 months, we have like EST movie night where we go to the Garneau, sell tickets for charity, and we watch Happy Gilmore.
We weren't allowed to.
We
do
watch
that.
Moneyball.
Now we can.
And that type of stuff. And it was not that expensive. And it would depend a little bit on the movie, like the rights to the movie and stuff, but it's not that expensive in the overall bigger picture. You get one sponsor for EST movie night, it's covered, and then everybody comes and just has a good time.
Moneyball, man.
This is going on the board.
You're going to put it on your board?
It's going on my board.
He's doing a board right now.
Surprised it hasn't been on already.
Yeah.
Well, like the full now at like Garneau or some theater.
Yeah.
Like it's going on my board
It
behind
beats
some other things that I have.
Taking over the A&W dining room. Hey. I still think that's
the Garneau sauce, but we could bring in Popeyes.
Oh, yeah.
We could bring in A&W. We
somebody
could bring
said
some Mr. Mike's.
You feed them and water them, and people will.
Yeah.
That's
exactly. Number 5.
Hot take of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Presented by Rick Pinter, perhaps, eh? Get him out there, give that award away.
Pinter comes
Hot
out of
take
the back.
Drive the people wild.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Best guest for each show.
Oh, wow.
I think you can do
we're going to have like a 3-hour show.
Again, the acceptance speeches.
Instead of a green
play
light
the music
goes
after 5 seconds.
Yeah,
And
instead of a light going on, I just yell, "Wrap it up!"
Exactly. Yeah. Big cane. You drag him off the stage.
You just need to grab one of your clips to play. That's the walk-off.
Dunk. If you're
The LeBron dunk on someone.
Oh, that'd be good. Tommy's up there accepting for Hello Hockey. Oh, LeBron dunk doesn't play on there properly. All right, number 3.
Now we're getting into the weeds here. This DM to me by fellow remembering being born guy, Beef of the Year.
Beef of the Year.
Care of Corey the Butcher and Acme Meats.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he, I got beef, a star-studded segment that's been appearing on Edmonton Sports Talk, the Nielson Show here. And I just want to get to Corey's Beef of the Year and the winner card being wrapped in butcher's paper.
That would be good.
You're unwrapping the thing. So a nice touch there, I think.
Well, I'll say this. If Acme Meats wants to sponsor the Estes, all of the winning cards will be wrapped in beef paper.
And you get a complimentary sausage when you walk in, chew.
All right, number 2.
Best advice, care of Damon Bunting. He gets up
that's
there.
an easy one.
He's a great guy. He looks good. He'd fit in the scene.
He could definitely present at an award show.
A couple awards, hey?
100%.
Yeah.
All right, number 1.
And the number 1 in the top 10 SD award categories, the HR Daddy of the Year. If you're a father out there, some sort of daddy, maybe somebody calls you their daddy, you apply and we award the daddy.
My dad comes up
and love that.
My
right?
parents would be here for the Estes 100%.
And if he could hand out the Daddy of the Year, courtesy of HR Daddy, I mean,
that would be pretty good. The Daddy of the Year, Maddie. Why are you shaking your head? Because it's like something we can pull off.
Because this is so ridiculous and so
it could work.
But it's so brilliant at the exact same time.
I know.
And now it's like, no, this is happening.
There would be a straight face in the crowd. It'd just
this would just be a wonderful night.
Lose yourself,
but
right?
it's also just sounds like the most ridiculous night at the exact same
ridiculous.
time.
Very ridiculous.
And that's just like, oh my God.
Yeah. Dave Jamieson right now somewhere is like, what the hell are you guys doing?
With a smirk creeping up
With
the
that
side
being
of his
said,
face. Yeah.
But he's awarding. He's presenting something.
Or a seat filler. Yeah. He'd love to be a seat filler, hey?
He's
running around there. He would love it. And take it so seriously.
Okay, so, man, I can't wait. I wish it was September already. I'm going to work so hard to win a lot of these things. You guys know I'm very competitive, right? Yeah.
Let the games begin.
Yeah, it's on now. We still need to figure out who determines who wins things.
Yeah. We've got all year to plan this out. Again, it's going on my board.
Yeah. Everything that ends up on that board gets done. That's the bottom line.
We'll have a golf tournament this year. We'll have a bond spiel this year. We'll do this night. The Grand Prix, the Nasty Bash will return. There's like 5 major events we're already planning right now.
How about this for an Esty? The non-on-air event of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Esties could be nominated.
Keep adding to the list.
That'd be nuts. All right. Lots of good hockey talk today, obviously. The SC stuff was fun. That's Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power. The Edmonton Elks have been keeping us on our toes for the last little while. And this guy obviously breaking a lot of news around the Canadian Football League. Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation joins us. Dunk, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, man. Dusty, I agree with your take. The Leafs need to get rid of Mitch Marner. I'm on board with that.
Right, they do, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's time, and it's probably going to be better for him to go somewhere else too. We'll see how that plays out. Wouldn't it be something if you and 3 Down broke a Marner trade over the summer? That would drive people nuts.
Hodge had it.
Yeah, Hodge had it first.
Loki, I've got a connection to him, so we'll see what happens.
Well, there we go. I like that. Justin Dunk with us. There's lots to get to. Let's dial it back a little bit here before we get to this trade that happened this week. Your thoughts on MBT coming in, taking over at the quarterback position. And what it means from Trey Ford, both as what could be positive and what could be negative from this for the young quarterback.
I understand the move if you're Chris Jones, and I'll pose this question to you guys. If you were in a year where you needed to win, your jobs were on the line, or you were going to be out the door, would you rather have MBT or Trey Ford as your starter? What's your answer?
It would be the veteran. It would be the veteran quarterback. I mean, I like
that,
Trey Ford. I'm a big Trey Ford guy, but I think MBT would be the answer if you're trying to save your job and win immediately.
Same, and I hate saying it because you guys know very well I'm a proponent of Canadian quarterbacks, especially Canadian university quarterbacks. But I think the mistake here goes back to last year when they gave Taylor Cornelius a bunch of money and they didn't start Ford early enough in the season. And if the Elks make the playoffs with Ford as the starter, I think his development is that much further ahead. Now, I understand bringing in MBT. They're going to pay him, though, $461,000 in what the CFL terms as hard money. He's got the chance to make over $500,000. So that means they got to trim some of this other cap space. And, I would actually push back on Chris Jones talking about, well, Trey Ford's only played, in and around 30 U Sports games. How's he going to develop if he's not playing, fellas, and not taking number one reps? Like, how's he going to develop standing there? I understand learning from MBT and to get the upside, and MBT probably does make them a better team right now. But Ford has such a bright future that are you tapering that? And the excitement, you guys know, the Elks need to get more people in the stands. Who's more exciting? That's an obvious question.
Well, that was one of the things that a lot of people, no matter what we see from MBT, a lot of people were like at the end of last season, like the only reason I was watching Edmonton Elks football games was because of Trey Ford, and now you've taken that job away from him. So they've angered some people there. Winning will obviously cure anything. And you talk about the development of it. Like when you're paying MBT $460, maybe upwards of $500,000, and that's not a guy you're probably taking off the field much for certain packages for Trey Ford even at that point, are you?
You wouldn't think so, but I would expect Ford to have a role that way because then he's still involved, right? And then you can actually believe Chris Jones when he says that he still believes Ford has a future. But guys, the other interesting part to this is Ford's going into the last year of his contract. So if you're Trey Ford and you guys know how he's been treated last year and now going into this year, do you really want to go back and sign in Edmonton?
No. I don't think you would. I mean, it's been a frustrating stretch here, which always blows me away considering this was the group that drafted him in the first round. You just don't see that happen very often in the Canadian Football League, and for it to go the way that it has gone recently has to be a little bit frustrating. But we'll see how it plays out at the quarterback position. The bottom line is the quarterback position is much stronger than it was last year. And Doug, last one on MBT, and then I know Rick wants to get into the Gittins trade. He had a pretty decent year last year. So what type of does he come back up to the Canadian Football League and kind of pick up where he left off 2 years ago?
I think it's going to take a little bit of time. So I don't think he maybe gets back to the point where he's leading the league in passing. Part of that's because I think the quarterback positions are all solidified around the league and there's some continuity there. But I think he's going to be a guy that puts you in the mix to be in a playoff spot. So I think you can expect MBT to, be up there amongst the top, let's say, quarterbacks in the league in terms of passing yards and touchdowns. But it's going to take a little bit of time. He's got Curly Gittins Jr., and we'll get into that now that he's familiar with, but he's got to learn some of these other guys like Geno Lewis and how they play.
Well, and Justin, the Gittins Jr. acquisition with Jake Ceresna going the other way, and I know there was a little bit else from Toronto coming back here to Edmonton, but those are the two pieces. And just going online, I know Elks fans, it's the same with the Trey Ford thing, just kind of a guy that, the name has been on the jersey, visible, been around for a while, and a little bit of consistency amongst losing seasons. But a lot of Argos fans, Gittins Jr., talented guy, a little bit injury issues last year, but, making his hay with MBT behind center. So is this just a good football trade and just helping everybody out? Nobody really wins this thing, but nobody loses either, right?
I would tend to disagree a little bit on there. I think the Argonauts win this trade by a landslide, fellas, to be quite honest. Answer me this. Do you think there were more double-digit sack guys in the CFL last year or 1,000-yard receivers? What's your answer?
Yeah, it's become a rarity to be a double-digit sack guy. That's a good point. He's done it in 2 years in a row.
But do you think Jones now goes what's the defensive line? You got to think that he's got some sort
There's got to be a plan.
I would think. Where would you go? You go back to Toronto maybe in free agency and then pick something off there or something?
I think that's a possibility. Sean Oakman is a pending free agent, but I think the more likely scenario, we'll see how things shake out with the coaching staff, but I've been hearing that Jason Shivers could end up with the Edmonton Elks on the staff. That's not confirmed. That's some speculation right now, but I think it's possible. And the guy that he's been with for a number of seasons in Saskatchewan is Anthony Lanier. I hope I'm saying his name right. Is that right, Lanier?
Yeah, Lanier, yeah.
Yeah, so I think he could come over there and fill that void on the inside. But man, Serezna is in the prime of his career. He's a difference maker. And guys, you know what he's done in the community there too. Like that was the thing that I noticed on social media.
He's been great in this community, buddy. Huge
PR move.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're trading away this good guy in the community, a recognizable face. And in the CFL, you guys well know, people have talked about not having this movement of players. So, I understand it from the perspective of wanting to get MBT a familiar target and Curly Gittins Jr. And I think there's a lot of upside with Gittins Jr. But from the Argonauts' perspective, this is why I think it's a win for Toronto, is that they put forth and tied the best record ever in the regular season for a CFL team. And Gittins Jr. was only there for really half the season last year. And he didn't get on the same page with Chad Kelly. So if you're Toronto, you're sitting here saying, well, I have this spare part who's taken up a big amount of cap space, over $200,000. Yes, Serezna is too. But the Argos are thinking, now we put Flo Ormalade on a defensive line with Jake Serezna. Like that sounds scary, boys.
Yeah, that's a scary group. You make a pretty good case of the Argos basically trading from a position of
It's the
strength.
same thing, though, almost like, again, you mentioned the needing to win now, but you're having to make moves where you're kind of handcuffed, and it leads you to bad PR, both with Ford and then
Yeah, like
Serezna.
at the end of the season, we talked about on the show when it happened. Serezna's been their best player for 2 years, and Trey Ford was the most exciting one. And neither of them will be factoring in on opening kickoff, which is going to be a little bit weird for Elks fans. But if they win, nobody's going to be complaining about it because they're so desperate to try to build a winner here. So now McLeod Bethel-Thompson comes in. He's got Geno Lewis. He's got Dylan Mitchell, I believe, on a restructured deal. They kept Kyron Moore around, Gittins Jr. as well. I mean, that could be a pretty lethal offense, but I'm going to be very fascinated to see what the checklist is like for Chris Jones come free agency. What do you think that looks like?
And Kevin Brown in the backfield at running back, and I think the O-line is solidified. So I think in free agency, guys, and this kind of ties back into the trade, if Chris Jones can get Anthony Lanier or Sean Oakman in there, then maybe you start thinking, okay, I see the plan here, right? They wanted to beef up a Canadian receiver, and even though that was a position of strength for the Argos, that was not for the Elks, as you guys well know.
Yeah.
So Gittins Jr. is an upgrade from that view for Edmonton. So I think the checklist for Jones in free agency is making sure that he gets a pass rusher or two that consistently get to the quarterback, whether that's Lanier, whether that's bringing back potentially AC Leonard, whether that's going out and getting somebody else of that ilk who has double-digit sack upside. But those guys aren't getting to free agency. Now, the one that is very interesting, I don't necessarily think will happen, is Matthew Betts. He's had 3 NFL workouts so far, Detroit, Cleveland, and Buffalo, has not yet signed a futures contract. And usually those happen pretty quickly if the NFL teams want you. For example, Austin Mack got around 100,000 USD to sign that deal. Falcons showed they wanted him. That hasn't happened with Betts, and I've heard Betts is asking for quite a bit of money. So I don't know if Edmonton has a cap space, but they need to get a difference maker in terms of pass rusher, because I think Jones can figure out the rest with the linebackers and fill in that secondary that's going to need some new pieces.
Dunk, good catching up with you, buddy. Great job on breaking some of this stuff around the Edmonton Elks, and we'll do it again in the future, man.
Thanks, boys. By the way, I like the studio. It looks sharp.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We're trying to look as professional as we can.
We need you in here in the flesh. You got to come in for a visit
Yeah,
sometime.
when you're in Edmonton, make sure you pop by. Yeah, for sure. That'd be great, buddy. Okay, I'll see you later.
Bye, guys.
There you go. That's Justin Dunk. I worked with him on Canada West broadcasts for a number of years. Excellent insider, but he's an excellent color man, too.
And a good, decent guy.
Yeah.
All
He
around.
does a good job
Gotta get him in here.
breaking news there.
Be nice if he was here hanging out someday. Eh?
I don't like. I'm just very excited for CFL free agency. I'm loving every day. There's a restructured contract, like Kenny Lawler. Kenny Lawler restructured his contract, turned a bunch of it in.
Stanley
to
Bryant,
a signing bonus.
back
Stanley
for a year.
Bryant's re-signed with
But
the Bombers.
especially in this market. And the whole fact of the winning now, but then also having to sacrifice that good grace and the good PR of Trey Ford, Jake Serezna's longevity here. Interesting to see how it all plays out. You got to think, though, that there's a plan for that defensive lineman spot, though.
Well, let's bring in local Chris Jones hater, Matthew Owanek, who's probably been waiting to chime in on this bad boy for most of the day. Matty, what do you think?
Chris Jones is going full Pete Chiarelli.
Oh boy, careful!
He's going full Pete Chiarelli right now.
Take a year, get that one in there.
Yeah.
The MBT deal. People know my thoughts on that one.
They're better at quarterback now, though, right?
But long term, they're not better. Oh, and next year we could be talking about who's going to be quarterback.
Well, if
We
we
could
all
have
love
this
Trey Ford, it could be Trey Ford next year.
Or Trey Ford's walking because Chris Jones pissed him off.
Well, that
and
was
there's
going to
no
be my
comeback.
question. I was going to say, how in the world do they sign him?
That's why I'm angered by this and this move. And like, I think next year it's going to be either Chris Jones or Trey Ford's going to be part of this team. It's not going to be
One or
both.
the other.
It's not going to be both.
An old-fashioned duel.
So if Chris Jones goes and wins this year, Trey Ford is going to be walking, and I worry 5 to 10 years from now, we're going to be looking at Trey Ford doing some great things out east.
Well,
and
and
going,
if you wanna do the
why,
timeline,
oh,
right?
damn, why isn't he here doing this in Edmonton? Because everyone's like, hey, oh, we got MBT for 2024. Awesome. And there's nothing Trey Ford showed as a starting quarterback that says he doesn't deserve to be the starting quarterback for this full season. He saved Chris Jones' job, and this is how Chris Jones is repaying him. As for the Jake Serezna deal, this is... We saw what the Elks were last year, part of it where you loaded in on your receivers and you didn't focus on the lines. They didn't improve their offensive line. And now this year, you've impacted your defensive line in a serious way, where it's awesome to bring Gittins Jr. in. If he could relive the magic that he had with MBT, awesome. That's a nice connection that you would have there. But you did it at the cost of such an important position, an important player that Justin even mentioned there's like in his prime. This is a double-digit sack guy that you need the pressure on the opposing quarterbacks, especially when you still have a younger secondary. There are only a lot of those guys just going in their second year in the Canadian Football League. Getting the pressure on that quarterback is just going to help those guys as opposed to exposing those guys potentially. So part of this is, okay, what is Chris Jones going to do with the defensive line? But this is a guy that's just, I think you got the text 2 days ago or wherever it was where somebody said Chris Jones is just trying to prove that he's smarter than everyone else. And I'm getting that sense right now. I'm getting that sense from Eric Tillman where he's just trying to prove that I know what I'm doing.
Tingle.
None of you know what you're
If
talking
he brings
about.
in a D lineman,
Watch me.
Can he win you back here? Like if he goes out and has a plan.
I think we need to wait.
I know, yeah.
And see what the final product looks like on March 1st.
And that's 100%.
Like 2 weeks into
We'll
free
have to take a full look at that, but also just look at this cap management system. You replace Steven Dunbar for Gittins Jr.
Pretty much.
And you lose Serezna.
That's a big ratio changer there.
You lose Serezna for MBT. How are you fixing the offensive line?
Well, they have to do that.
That's where you thought like it all looked like you lose Dunbar, that money could go into the offensive line. No,
I thought that's where they were going to put that money. Like
they don't have a lot of big name free agents necessarily. So I don't know where they're getting extra money to go make their moves.
Well, they have to upgrade their offensive line.
Yeah.
It was atrocious last year. And you're going to need an offensive line that can keep the pocket clean for McLeod Bethel-Thompson.
With your Trey Ford, though, I would agree that the situation in Hamilton with their quarterbacking, and if you want to mesh up the timelines, right, for Trey Ford to, as you say, go out east, Hamilton would be the place that he'd probably
or Ottawa
ideally want to go, but just in
or
terms
Ottawa.
of where he's from and all that. That with Bo Levi Mitchell on one more, and then you can kind of see how that would develop. You can make a case for that scenario happening. That would be troubling and worrying. Like if you had no other options out there or whatever, this would be an option. MBT's gone. You could say, well, I can just come back here, but that could be a door opening for him to return out east.
Chris Jones could win me back in probably only one real way. Well,
okay,
two.
let me guess.
I'll go two ways. I'll say there's 2 ways.
All right, let's try to guess. O-line, one of them?
New O-line.
No. Like it's because I'm a Chris Jones guy. I was.
You don't sound like a Chris Jones
I'm not.
guy.
I've turned.
Okay.
I have been a Chris Jones fan for many, many years. But for this season, there's only 2 ways he could win me back.
Is this roster related?
One of them is.
Is it a specific player you're talking about?
Yes.
Matthew Betts?
No, if he can extend Trey Ford at some point this year. Okay, now I could be more comfortable with everything that's going on here because now I know Trey Ford is still part of this organization. But I'm right now thinking he's gone next year.
They're not extending Trey Ford.
Then he's gone
I'm
next
not
year.
sure
And
Jones wants to do it, and I don't think Trey would want to do it.
Okay, and that frustrates me because I could see this guy being a stud in the Canadian Football League, and we're all going to be sitting here for the next few years going, oh, that'd be great if he was in Edmonton. The other would be actually just going to winning Grey Cup this year. Like I can't criticize a guy who won a Grey Cup. I can't go at him at that point.
Especially a Grey Cup that the EST crew will be at in Vancouver.
Those are probably the only 2 ways Chris Jones could survive in my books for me personally. as to whether he should remain with this team going into 2025.
When he lands a stud defensive lineman, he'll win you back a bit.
No, because
given this transaction.
For this transaction, I guess, but where's the O-line too? Like, I just, the money isn't adding up to me. This is where the CFL needs not even a cap friendly where you tell us all the salaries. Just tell me where the Elks are money wise. Tell me how far away from the cap they are. I don't care where it's spent.
This is why I said earlier. I said I want a percentage of how much cap space they have going into free agency.
There was a website out there years ago. Was there not? Remember the one with the Canadian?
Like they have $4.5 million in cap space. I don't know what the cap space is, but the Elks have $3.75 already committed for this season.
Yeah, so we know that they've got.
Okay, they got that amount of money to go and do this. That's all, and we don't have to know players' salaries or anything like that. We just know how much of the cap is being spent, and we could have a better conversation.
Because if we had that, if we knew that. If that information was out there, then when this conversation happens, and we go, well, they got an MBT and it's going to be over $200K for Curly Gittens, then we could go, yeah, but they've still got $1.4 million to spend in free agency. Yeah. And then you're going, okay, well, now there's time. Like, but right now we're in panic mode because it's like, well, do you have money to replace Serezna on the defensive line? Do you have money to improve your offensive line? I don't know. I think that's a tough spot to be in. So once again, CFL cap friendly. Somebody please make it happen. My goodness.
Well, and then, yeah, you don't have to also tell us the players' salaries and all.
You don't have to go full.
Even if you want, break it into 3 levels. Tell us how much money is committed on the offense. Tell us how much money is committed on the defense. Tell us how much money is committed to special teams, I guess, if you will. Or you could just do offense, defense, because special teams guys could fall into those categories to a degree. And let us know what the total money is spent so we could have better conversations going into free agency. But no, like, Chris Jones has really lost me this January. And it's not about 2020. People could talk about this team's better this year. That's fine. I'm worried about seeing this team win consistently year in and year out, becoming the Stampeders of the 2010s, not just a team that wins one Grey Cup or has one good year.
And the guy at the helm isn't concerned about that right now.
Because he's worried about his job, which is
he's on thin ice and he's
Peter Schreller was worried about his job. So he made a move to help MBT. Like, how long is he going to be the starting quarterback here?
Maybe a year.
Best.
Maybe you get
3 years.
2 or 3.
Okay, so he got rid of a defensive lineman in his prime to give MBT a weapon.
Couple of comments here. Duck Dad says, Chris Jones just made another East powerhouse. I wonder if he ends up there after getting fired here. I like the idea of Chris Jones sending everybody to the Argos in hopes of getting a job there when he gets fired here. Boy, and this text.
Masterful Gambit, sire.
I love this text. This text comes in from somebody who's texting in for the first time ever. Love when we see those. Boys, if you look back at Chris Jones' history as GM, he's been notoriously poor at finding/developing quarterbacks, but extremely good at finding or attracting amazing defensive linemen. This is something that you brought to the table a couple of days ago.
It's not sexy, but it could be someone we've never heard of before, which he's done. He has populated the league with studs on that side of the ball. Again, but it doesn't pacify. It doesn't pacify in the present moment, and I totally get that.
Well, they bring in MBT because he's a proven guy that could go and help them win this year. And now on the defensive line, you're going an unproven person. It goes completely against
but his track
the
record
arguments.
suggests that, though. He can find them on that side of the ball. The quarterback, not so much.
I don't even think he's still found the quarterback.
Well, no, that's jury's out on that one.
So this is an MBT issue then, Matty, deep at its core.
Well, there's a lot it's a Trey Ford issue.
Yeah.
That I want to see more from him. I want him to be the starter this year to see what else he can develop into, because this guy has the potential to be a really good starting quarterback in this league with his age for a long time. Absolutely. It's still only potential, but at some point you have to play to see if that potential could be realized. It's also, you bring in an MBT by committing to him as a starter. You now lost money to fix your offensive line, in my mind. And again, I'll reevaluate this on February 13th after free agency on the 12th. But if you don't really go fix the offensive line, you even went with the worst quarterback for this O-line. Yeah. Trey Ford could at least run if his O-line...
That's why I would assume if MBT's the plan, they must have money to improve the offensive
line.
So
then I go to the other part to this is, why not improve the O-line for Trey Ford?
Well, they would have done that too if he was still here.
Instead of go get a different veteran backup quarterback that's a backup and give Trey Ford the better offensive line.
I have a feeling this discussion might come up on the Hangout today.
I hope so.
Mark Majo's already here. Hell, Tommy Gazzola's already here. He came in after Mark, but he's here. How are you, Tommy? Good post-game show last night. People were fired up. 11 in a row for the Edmonton Oilers. That'll be coming up on the Hangout today as well. Let's get in. That was a fun discussion, boys. I can't wait for Elks pre- and post-game coverage right here on Edmonton Sports.
Neither can I.
My God. I really want them to win, but I got a lot of time for another disastrous season with Maddie on pre and post, just torching everybody.
Maddie for Elks treasurer. That's what they're saying in the nasty chat.
Hashtag Maddie for Elks treasurer. Jen is asking, Dusty, why do you have 2 mice for your computer? Well, I'm really bad with mice. I got mice all over the place. So I bought a blue one because it matches my laptop. So I know this goes with my laptop. This one actually controls Maddie's computer for when I do like lock shop and oil stream and stuff. So this one, usually I turn it off and put it to the side, but I just kind of had it sitting there all day. There's your answer. Always answering questions here. The wrap for William Huff. Visit them, williamhuff.com. Your place can look as good as ours. Justin Dunk, what did he say today? Studio looks awesome, boys. And that basically is a straight-up compliment to Bruce and his team at William Huff. Visit them at williamhuff.com. They've been banging this stuff out since 1972, and they can help take your business to another level from a looks perspective. Which, can you imagine if we were just sitting here in the... Remember when we first got in here, like in late July, early August, like how much more stuff we have in here now? Just like an open office with a boardroom, and that was it.
We got a hoop.
No, we got the hoop. We got couches we can sleep on. It's great. And it all looks good. Because of William Huff. What'd you learn on the show today?
Well, if I could just make one point, I just want to say that earlier you had a very patronizing tone towards me. I've been waiting all morning for that one.
Oh, that was too good. Morning. That was too good. It's not going to be your sound of the day, but it was that was pretty good. Good reference there, Rick. Good reference.
I jest, yes.
I learned that we had people checking in from Sasip Lake in Ontario, Tulum down in Mexico, Chongqing, China, Maniwaki, Quebec, Lumsden, Saskatchewan, Estevan, Saskatchewan. And Jack Cookson said, I listened to you guys when I was in Green Bay last weekend.
Put it on the map.
We got to put that on the map, too. So we got lots going on there. All right, let's get to your sound of the day today. How about Bouchard putting one in? Not walking the line, essentially, but getting it just over line.
I got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Drysidle setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line.
How dude?
As sure as new G is slick and Kane is tough. We're going all the way this year, enough is enough. And we can play 'em straight or we can play 'em rough. I'm feeling fine when I walk the line.
I'm your huckleberry.
You know I shoot that puck so very, very hard. The name on the back of my jersey says Bouchard. And we're gunning for first place, not a wild card. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line.
How dude?
Well, we're counting on our skill and not on luck. And it's gonna get real when they drop that puck. And we won't be done until we hoist the cup. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line.
Excellent stuff once again. Bouchard finding the back of the net to cash that over 10.5 goal total we got at the beginning of the year at Quebec. Somebody texted in and said, "Hey boys, all day yesterday I was just going around going." And I was doing that last night at home too.
Hum it in public places at the grocery store.
I walk the line. They don't know, but yeah, it's so good. All right, text of the day today for A&W. Go to A&W. You're going to get your hands on a gift certificate here. Take that gift certificate to A&W. Get the Dill Pickle Mama Burger. It's back, also now available as a Buddy Burger, starting at just $3.99. 3 grass-fed beef burgers topped with pickles and onion slice, real cheddar cheese, and slathered in what? Creamy, spicy dill pickle sauce. Available for a limited time only at A&W. Lacombe Drew. You got this one, Lacombe Drew. It's going to win text of the day today. More like Shell Dunkeef.
That was early on. That's
well
stood
done,
the test
sir.
of time.
Well done. That's in there nicely. Some Macramalla intros were good today, though. Corey B, probably the runner-up. EST legal analyst and human equivalent of a participation trophy. That was a good one today, too. But congratulations, Lacombe Drew. You have won the text of the day for A&W. What are you watching tonight, Rick?
FA Cup replays as well. Third round replays. The final 3 today. Blackpool, Nottingham Forest.
Why do they call them replays, boys? I just got to hop in here quickly.
Because you play one match, and if there's a draw, they play it again.
Yeah, they don't go to extra time or
replay.
shootouts.
They don't carry anything over. I guess because it was a draw.
But then if this is a draw,
so what happens in this one?
Then they go to penalty. They go to extra time and over and kicks. But so yeah, it's not a 2-legged affair. It's a single leg. But if it's a tie in the first one, they play a second. So it's a replay of the first one.
So if you're a club competing on multiple fronts, you don't want that extra game to be added to your schedule.
So why don't they just go to kicks after the first game?
That's just how they do it.
Maddie didn't even have an answer.
Well, this is what they do.
Why not just do one game?
This is what they do. It gives the other team.
I think the other team gets a whole, they flip venues, don't
get
they?
a home date,
if you're
is
a
that
small
what they do?
club, you have a chance to bring this other one back to your place.
That makes sense.
Get a little money.
That would make sense.
That'd be, yeah.
So it seems weird, but that makes more sense.
But so that's why it's called a replay, because you're literally replaying the match.
Okay. As you're watching that. Sorry, when you said replay the last few days, I'm like, I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
Fair.
Mavs and Lakers for me. Just 3 games tonight in the National Hockey League. Mavs and Lakers will be on the menu for me tonight. And I do want to dive into the, D'Angelo Vickers season? Maddie, you said that's kind of a waste of time? Or
Once Michael Scott leaves, it's not the same. Have you watched The Office?
I've watched a lot of The Office, but I've not watched after Michael Scott leaves.
Have you seen all of the Michael Scott years?
I've seen like 75% of it.
Okay, yeah, then you could go on, because there's only 5 episodes of D'Angelo Vickers.
The one where he hosts the Dundies for the Esties.
Okay, so does D'Angelo Vickers, he comes in.
It's a very short run.
And then after that, Helms takes over? I know Helms is there before.
No, Robert California, which is James Spader.
Yeah.
Oh, Spader. See, I don't know anything about Spader.
And that was weird, too. But
it was except I didn't mind his character for a bit, and then it got even weirder.
They were just trying to hang on,
But you don't need all the D'Angelos, just the episode where he hosts the Dundies.
Well, I think I want to watch all. If there's only 5, I'll watch all 5.
Specifically the Dundies.
Yeah, it's not like he wasn't in for long.
Okay.
But it was underwhelming to me. I had higher hopes for Will Ferrell's character.
Yeah, well,
when that happened.
I'll judge that.
But both Dundies episodes, the Michael Scott hosting and then the D'Angelo hosting.
Is there only 2 Dundies?
Yeah.
I think.
Or do they do it every year?
Well, they do it every year in theory, but for the episodes in the show, they've only like 2 episodes focused on the Dundies.
Right, well, we'll have to do that for the Esties.
The first one was really cool.
That's where I do want to not go to Garneau in a sense and do it at like a small thing where you're ruining people's time and.
But we're not mean guys.
Well, that's not mean.
No, but it was just like they.
If you're there at
weren't
AEW
expecting
one night
it.
going out with like your family or something,
and all of a sudden there's a group of
and we
6
watch it and
tables.
start I mean,
And you have a little microphone and speaker, and you're talking into it, and they're like, "What's going
I'd like to know, just quickly run the numbers on Garneau, just to the lower level.
It's 300 and some seats.
In the lower level.
Yeah.
we'll fill.
We
the
100% fill that.
We'll open the higher.
I think year 1 we go lower level.
No.
And then if there's overflow, they can go up top.
I don't think. I think when you're booking it, you're just booking it.
Yeah, but we can make the rules.
Yeah, but we're gonna have extra spots. You're 500 people. Like we all have to invite all of our clients.
Yeah, but I mean that's like, I don't know.
Plus ones for all those people.
Yeah. That could fill up.
Like here, the other thing we didn't. Friends of EST. We'll have to give away an award for the Friends of EST, and then the Friends of EST people might show up too.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about the Nasties yet.
Well, the Nasty Club. I mean,
overall, like
front row seats.
We could go through probably 50 or 60 people straight up of just us and clients and people connected to EST, and we haven't even talked about the Nasties.
Edmonton Symphony Orchestra and the band pit. Hey, they could play people.
Somebody said when the speech time's up, I start playing trombone. Yeah.
I like the big cane.
Yeah, that's a good idea, too. All right, that's going to do it for the show today. For Matty Iwanek, stick around. He's going to be on the Hangout here with Tommy and Mark Peugeot and Lieutenant Eric. I am Dustin Nielsen. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk. If you're listening on TuneIn or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, you get a little bit of Whale on the Wolf, then the Hangout will fire up right away. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hammer that thumbs up for us. Appreciate it. Go a long way in the algorithm. And if you've been watching the content but have not yet subscribe. Oh, we're at 234 thumbs up today. Nice show. Nice show, Eric. Nice show. Confidence at all-time high here.
There's halfway of the Garneau Theater filled up.
Just with thumbs. And that if you actually, if those people just get +1s, it's full.
There you go. Easy.
Maybe we could do this.
Absolutely.
All right. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk. Make sure autoplay is on YouTube. That'll slide you on over to the Hangout, which will be underway in less than 5 minutes. Congratulations to the Edmonton Oilers on 11 wins in a row. That's pretty impressive. Have a great day. Take it easy.